I step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Good morning. Welcome to it. It is the morning. I know it's still dark outside.
Yeah,
okay?
it's still dark. There's the eclipse going on as well.
Exactly. I was going to say it's an opportunity, okay? We're not trying to get you up too early. We're trying to get you up early enough to go look outside, not right now, in the next few minutes, and go and check out something that's very rare. It's a blood moon, a lunar eclipse happening at the moment, and it's pretty epic. I don't know if you can see it on our screen. We'll be bringing you little updates for as long as we have it this morning. But
actually, they can only do it during the ad breaks.
Okay.
That's the deal. That's the deal for this morning, Sanzi. But thank you for joining us. It's Monday, bright and early, and we're talking about everything when it comes to a journey of healing. Obviously, at this stage of the year, we've all been through so much, and healing from all that we have experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic, from trauma of loss in family members, jobs, and routines, to changing our healthy habits. So important right now, G, especially when you consider where we're at. I mean,
I don't think anyone has had their, or not had their foundations rocked in some way or another. Yeah. Everyone is in some process of healing. Maybe you want to share some advice. Maybe you're looking for some desperate advice right now. Hopefully we'll be able to provide that. We're going to be joined by a panel of experts to help us explore these unresolved feelings, some of these thoughts. If you have them lingering in you right now, please join us in unpacking them, and you can give us a call. We want to connect with you in real time. And in fact, you can call us about anything on this number, 021 110 552. We can even talk a little footy if you want.
Oh, yes, we have to, of course, G. We're going to get to that, but of course, Zanzi, come through. We're here to serve you this morning, and a beautiful lady standing by to serve you as well. It's Zozo. Let's say hi.
Well, do want beef for chicken? I'm joking, but a very good morning to you. Yes, it is Monday morning, and we want to start the week and the day off on a very positive note. So for today, our social media question to you is, we want to kick off the week on a positive note. Is there a friend or family member that you want to send a message of encouragement to? This is your opportunity to do so, so send it in the comments below. So that means you need to head on over to our social media pages. That's on Expresso Show, that's on Facebook. Leave that encouragement word for your family member, your friend, perhaps tag them, and we will read all of those encouraging messages for your motivational Monday as the day progresses. So that will be coming up between now and 9 o'clock. So get those comments in. But it's time for us to quickly kick off the morning with a look at your morning headlines. Here's Ryle.
Thank you so much. So, of course, it's time to start off with the headlines and sticking to national news first. President Cyril Ramaphosa says there should be no excuse for exploiting child labor. Now, addressing delegates in Durban during the 5th Global Conference on the elimination of child labor, Ramaphosa said the increasing numbers of children being forced into child labor delays efforts to eradicate it by 2025. Now, the president said such exploitative labor practices are also disallowed as they impact the child's spiritual, moral, and social development. Now, the International Labour Organization says some 160 million children globally are laborers, and over half of them range between the ages of 5 and 11. Well, next up on our national news front, legendary gospel musician Dr. Deborah Fraser passed away in Johannesburg yesterday. Now, she suffered a stroke last week and had been battling with diabetes. And Fraser, who was 56 years old, had released albums such as Gloria, Isililo, Samaria, and Thanksgiving, as well as Uhambo. Now, her solo album, Abanye Bayombona, released in 2000, sold more than 1 million copies. Now, Fraser also won the first SABC Crown Gospel Music for Best Female Artist, as well as a SAMA and Metro Award for Best Gospel Album. Now, she held a doctorate in philosophy from the Trinity International Bible University. Our condolences definitely go to her and the family, but for now, it's time to carry on with the news fronts and heading over to international news, where more than 18.5 million children in Nigeria have no access to education, with girls accounting for more than half the number. Now, the UN Children's Fund had the following to say, otherwise known as UNICEF. Now, some 11,000 schools have closed since December 2020 due to insecurity, and this being said by UNICEF themselves. And since Boko Haram jihadists kidnapped more than 200 schoolgirls from the northeastern town of Chibok in 2014, dozens of schools have been targeted in similar mass abductions. And last year, gunmen gunmen abducted about 1,500 school children, with 16 losing their lives. This also reported from UNICEF. Now, next up in our international news, a retired Indian couple is suing their son and daughter-in-law, demanding they produce a grandchild within a year or pay them $675,000. Now, Sanjeev Prasad, a 61-year-old retired government officer, said it was an emotional and sensitive issue for him and his wife, and they could not wait any longer. Now, his son is a pilot, and his son's training cost him some $47,300. And he said, and quoted, "We want a grandson or a granddaughter or compensation because I've spent my life's earnings on my son's education," unquote. Well, interesting news indeed, but we carry on with the international news. And a farmhand only a kilometer from the Mount Kenya National Park raised the alarm after spotting what he thought was a lion just outside his employer's home. Now, soon afterwards, 3 armed Kenyan wildlife officers cautiously approached the homestead, but their state of high alert soon turned to astonishment when all they found was a shopping bag in a hedge, albeit on, well, one with a realistic image of a lion's head on it. Now, the bag had been placed there by the homeowner, hoping to dry out some avocado tree seedlings. Now, local chief Cyrus Mbijiwe said, and quoted, "We first ensured everyone was safe before the wildlife officers were summoned. The homestead owner was away when the rangers were called, and the shopping bag was directly below a window. And when it was opened, the officials realized that the supposed lion didn't have a body and was in fact a shopping bag." Now, the Kenya Wildlife Services nevertheless lauded the public for raising an alarm in order to mitigate a possible tricky situation. Well, on that lucky and hearty note, I leave you the rest of the headlines, and here's the G-Man with the latest on the sport.
Thank you so much, Ral. Let's kick it off with local football. Orlando Pirates, they've reached the CAF Confederations Cup final on Sunday, despite a shock 1-0 loss to Libyan visitors Al Ahly Tripoli in their semi-final second leg. The Pirates built a 2-0 first leg lead in Benghazi last Sunday, and they needed it, qualifying 2-1 on aggregate for a second final appearance in their second-tier African competition. Ali Abu Arkoub scoring on 89 minutes to set up a tense final, which included 4 minutes of added time. In a second, Al Ahly goal would have taken the semi-final to a penalty shootout, but the tired visitors were never really threatened to score a second time at Orlando Stadium. Pirates will now play RS Berkane in the final after they beat TP Mazembe 3-2 on aggregate as well. Then a little further afield, Manchester City came from 2-0 down to salvage a vital point in a 2-2 draw at West Ham. That was to keep their Premier League title in their hands at least. And City needed a maximum of 4 points from their final 2 games of the season to guarantee a 4th title in 5 years. Jared Bowen opening the scoring in the 24th minute before doubling the Hammers' lead on the stroke of half-time. And Jack Grealish got one back after the resumption of play before Vladimir Soufal scored an own goal. So City could have won the game, but Riyad Mahrez had his penalty saved by Lucas Fabianski. Then elsewhere, we saw Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with Harry Kane's penalty moving Spurs into 4th with a nervy 1-0 win over Burnley. Antonio Conte's men now moved 2 points ahead of North London rivals Arsenal, who will travel to Newcastle tonight in the battle for a place in next season's Champions League. Some other results saw Everton losing 3-2 against Brentford. Then Leeds and Brighton, as well as Palace and Villa, they drew 1-1. Then Leicester, they bouncing back, thumping Watford 5-1 with Jamie Vardy and Harvey Barnes both scoring twice there. And then tragic news on the cricketing front. Cricket Australia's chairman, Lachlan Henderson, has said, we quote, "Australian cricket has lost another of its very best." And that was after the tragic news that former all-rounder Andrew Symonds died in a car crash over the weekend. The 46-year-old, who played 26 tests and 198 ODIs for Australia from 98 to 2009, was involved in a single car accident just outside Townsville in Queensland State on a Saturday evening. And pictures published by the Brisbane Courier Mail showed a vehicle on its roof and skid marks on the road. And Symonds was also, outside of being an amazing batsman, a top-rate fielder, and was definitely a key part of Australia's back-to-back 50-over World Cup triumphs in 2003 and 2007. And then finally, on to tennis. Novak Djokovic won his 6th Italian Open title after a 6-love, 7-6 victory over Stefanos Tsitsipas. The world #1 soft Monte Carlo Masters champion Tsitsipas to claim the last major tournament before Roland Garros gets underway a little bit later this month. It was the 34-year-old's first tournament winner of the season. Now, women's world #1 Iga Swiatek, she was also known for defending her Italian Open title with a dominant performance over Ons Jabeur and beating her 6-2, 6-2. The Polish 20-year-old has now won 28 matches in a row, 5 consecutive tournaments, getting close to a world record. And then, of course, there's the small matter of the FA Cup. The Reds victorious will be bringing in the teams in just a moment, not the official teams, but the supporters. To chew on that, you can give us a shout as well. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know on all of our social media platforms. Are you red or are you blue this weekend and how you're feeling? But before that, let's get you set for the weather ahead.
Thank you, Graham. Well, let's take a look at your weather. A level 10 severe weather warning for veld fires has been issued for parts of the Northern and Western Cape for today by the SA Weather Service. It warned of veld fire conditions from as early as 8 a.m. this morning until late tonight. It said conditions are such that the fire department index is above 75. Under these conditions, fires may develop and spread rapidly, resulting in damage to property and possible loss of human and or animal life. Now, areas expected to be affected include Beaufort West, Matsikama, Vredendal, Berg River, Redelingshuis, Kamiesberg, Garries, Namakwa, Springbok, the Richtersveld and Alexander Bay. The Weather Service said fire and labour teams as well as equipment should be on standby and added at the first sign of smoke, every possible measure should be taken to bring a fire under control in the shortest possible time. And before we take a look at your sunrise images, let's take a look at the beautiful red moon outside. Now, from your weather news to that gorgeous blood moon that you currently see on your screen right now, if you have any beautiful pictures that you'd love to share with us, please do so on the Expresso Facebook page. All of those details are currently on your screen alongside that rare red moon eclipse currently. Now, from that gorgeous sunrise, well, in fact, the blood moon, we now take a look at those sunrise views that you've shared with us. Rena Fasan from Umkomaas is kicking us off this morning with this beautiful, super early morning shot of the sky filled with hues of pink. And then sticking to KZN, Pat Sunkel from Durban shared this stunning shot of the sky displaying beautiful hues of oranges and pinks as the sun begins to rise in the distance. Absolutely beautiful. But let's get into those temperatures. Heading over to Limpopo. If you're in Polokwane, a low of 9 and a high of 20 for today. Rain can be expected in Mbombela, a low of 15, a high of 22. Pretoria, 10, 22, partly cloudy in Johannesburg, a low of 9, a high of 20. Mahikeng 8, 22, Klerksdorp 7, reaching a high of 23. A sunny day in Kimberley, 10 is your low, 25 your high. Bloemfontein 4, reaching a high of 23. Richards Bay 15, 25, a sunny day for Pietermaritzburg, 9 is your low, 23 your high. Durban 15, 25, Mthatha 9, reaching a high of 26. East London 16, 26, a sunny day in Cradock, a low of 6, a high of 25. Gqeberha 15, reaching a high of 26. Heading over to the Western Cape, if you're in George, a sunny day with a high of 27. Cape Town, sunny, reaching a high of 27. Worcester 16, 31. Sutherland 9, 23. And Uppington, a beautiful day ahead. It's sunny with a low of 13 and a high of 30 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where we leave your weather for now. If you have beautiful images of either the sunrise or the blood moon, please share that with us on the Expresso Facebook page.
Yeah, please share your smile, your thoughts, your heartache if you went down. I'm so sorry. It was a big weekend for the Reds and the Blues. The Reds were triumphant. Yes, they are. They got the double over Chelsea, but they are the FA Cup title holders for probably a record time. We're going to get into all of the highs and lows. 021 110 552 if you want to give us a call and air your frustrations, air your celebrations. You'd love to hear it.
Hopefully you can celebrate with me, but also Mzansi, get off a couch because I'm going to get warmed up and put to the paces. Stan Galdenes is here. He's a calisthenic champion 3 times over, and the man's come to do some damage this morning. We'll see you all in just a bit.
Welcome back as we continue to talk a little sport. Of course, the major sporting highlight this weekend, Chelsea taking on Liverpool in the final of the FA Cup again. And on Saturday, it happened with the Reds running out 6-5 winners on penalties. What a fight. Kostas Tsimikas scoring the winning penalty at Wembley as Liverpool kept their quadruple hopes alive. The slightest of hopes, but they can still do it. They can still do it. And with us to review the game is the chairman of the Liverpool Supporters Club in Cape Town, laughing harder than anyone else, Neil Reuters, and then Chelsea fan Lisha Rose. Well done. Okay, just leave it there. No, just well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
Can we say thank you to Lishan for coming in? This is how you support your club.
Yeah.
On a Monday morning,
Very true,
you pick yourself up and you get out there and you do it. Before we talk about it, let me put you through your pain again. Let's take another look at this winning moment.
Does spring up unlikely heroes. Here's Tsimikas. Liverpool's hero. Liverpool's joy!
And that is how you cement yourself in history, really, or at least in Liverpool, in Scouser law for the rest of your life. Neil, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you so much.
You can sit there brimming with pride. You are allowed to do that. It was a hard battle.
It was.
I've got to ask, I mean, this has got to be third FA Cup now on the trot.
Yes.
Well, undoubtedly the best period under Klopp. Is this the best period that the Reds have had, kind of circa 70s, 80s? You've got to be feeling like this is another golden era.
I think that this is a new era. It feels good to kind of recapture the glory of the days gone by. But I think this is a new era. And this just reminds us once again what the club, the ability that the club has, not only in terms of the players that's there, but also what the club has built as an ethos, as part of its rich culture. And I think we've recaptured that, really. And that's what makes it a lot of fun being a Liverpool supporter at the moment, taking nothing away from what the other clubs are doing. But I think it's important for Liverpool to have gone through this.
Well, there have been fans who have been waiting literally their whole lives for these kind of magical moments. So.
Credit to Jurgen Klopp. I mean, he took them from a side that's struggling to get into the top four to now being disappointed that they could not possibly get the quadruple. So.
And that's still in the balance. We'll get to that. I've got to ask you one question. What's wrong with Wembley? Why don't you like Wembley Stadium? Why can't you win a game at
This is the third one that is gone. I don't understand. Listen, well fought on Saturday. Like I said on Friday, Chelsea come to a final, they will turn up.
They'll play against their peers.
The problem is we have these goal-shy attackers. And the bottom line is we were wasteful. I actually have nothing to whine about Liverpool. But
could you have won this one in your heart of hearts?
We could have wrapped that up in 90 minutes. I'm sure you can agree.
Yeah.
Considering the amount of chances that Chelsea had wasted and who was in front of goal, Pulisic. That was probably the 46,822 wasteful
just waiting for him to come good. There's so much talent there. No, for sure, I get that.
It blows my mind. And where do you resurrect Ross Barkley from? When I saw him, I thought, you know what? Just let it go.
Manage your expectations. And we have to do that, especially at this time of the season. How are you managing your expectations? Because the quadruple is kind of still on. It might not be fully in your hands, but you've given yourself every opportunity to do it. Is there hope? What's the focus now? Surely Champions League, or do you kind of hedge your bets? Where does your energy at night when you pray? What are you praying for?
I'd like to quote the very famous Liverpool anthem that says, "Walk on with hope in your heart." If you know, we should never lose infinite hope in light of whatever.
I told you, you've got to manage your expectations.
But here's the reality. We've got to take every game as it comes. Enjoy the football. And I think that's what the players on the pitch are doing. They're enjoying the football.
You can see it,
and we can see that. And they reap the results week after week. Yes, the Premier League, largely out of our hands. The Champions League still within, the scope of what's in our control, and we've got to really just make sure that we take every game as it comes, enjoy the moment on the pitch, and I think the fans should take it the same way. And that way, we're going to enjoy the...
I can guarantee you, after being kept out of stadiums, not seeing footy for almost a season, I can guarantee you the fans are savouring every second of it.
Oh, absolutely.
From a Chelsea perspective, not so much the rest of this season, but more looking forward to next season. Where's Chelsea at right now? Fire and higher?
Well, like I said, the second half of the season has been horribly turbulent. Now that we have a new owner that's coming in, Todd Burley and its consortium, I'm quite excited to see what they do with Chelsea.
Yeah.
We are such a spoiled fan base, you know. I was listening to them whine this weekend when we lost. I mean, the youngsters, Mason Mount, Reece James, they have been through so much these past few seasons. It wasn't long ago that Chelsea were getting thrashed by Bayern Munich.
Yeah, and no one knew who those lads were.
I do think we're going to see an overhaul. I think we're going to see a clear out. We're going to have to because, you know, Aspilicueta's going. They're all on freeze. Christensen, thank goodness. Rudiger is going to leave a big hole. So I think we are going to see new players. We've already apparently signed, you know, players in principle when the sanctions are lifted, which I think is a good way forward because us as Chelsea fans have no idea what's going to go on. They were saying that if we're not registered by the 8th of June, we're not playing in the Premier League.
I'm telling you, they will find a way. They will find a way, a new owner, new money, and they'll want to kind of make their intentions known with some new signings.
We'll be in another final.
So here's the thing. Just, I know it's very difficult. Just spare a thought for Neil. Just 2 or 3 big weeks left in your journey.
Yes.
Good luck, my friend. I won't be cheering for you, but no, you personally I'll be cheering for, maybe not just your team.
That's okay.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming in, Nishan, as well.
Thank you.
To the Reds, congratulations. An incredible victory. 2 down, 2 more to go. You can still do it this season. To the Chelsea fans, stay strong, my friends. In fact, let's put one of those Liverpool supporters through his paces just to help balance the karma out a little bit. Good luck, Raul.
Thank you so much. And definitely agree with you. The next 2 weeks are going to be tough, but I don't know if it's going to be as tough as what I'm about to do right now. We're talking about calisthenics. Now, it's a form of strength training of a variety of movements that use large muscle groups and involve movements such as standing, grasping, and pushing. Now, they're intended to increase your strength, your fitness, your flexibility, and using one's body weight for resistance is at the top of the list. And it can provide you with the benefits of muscular and aerobic conditioning, in addition to improving your balance, agility, and coordination. So it literally just targets every single part of your body. So here to show us what it's all about, we've got a 3-time South African calisthenics champion, Stanley Geldenhuys, in the building, and he's joined by Luto. The guys are coming in hot with the crew. Stan, Luto, how are you guys doing, man?
We are well, thank you so much. I'm quite excited for what we're about to demonstrate with you guys.
Yeah.
And also obviously show you guys from the basics as to where to start with calisthenics. And once again, just thank you so much for having us on the show.
No,
and,
man, thank you, dude. Listen, you don't understand how so many people out here respect what you are doing. I mean, the challenge and the intensity of all the moves in this game, it's intense, man. I've used calisthenics as a form of rehab when I dislocated my shoulder, and it did incredible wonders for me. It highlights your weaknesses.
Yes.
It forces you to be strong through the entire body. So, and we've got 3 parts this morning, right? We've got 3 sessions with you. I want to see what calisthenics is all about, because not many people are maybe even familiar with it. Zanzi, a few guys sitting at home are like, what is going on? So maybe you can take us through a few moves, and then we can get into it ourselves, eh?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So what do you got for us?
So what we're going to start out with is our static movements. Now, these are the most advanced movements in calisthenics. Yes, these movements are very hard and sometimes takes you from a year to 2 years to even just get one of these movements right. All right, so our first movement that I'm going to demonstrate here is by far the hardest one of them all, which is the planche. I'm going to start with the straddle, and then we've got Luto here, which is actually our current South African champion. He's going to demonstrate the full planche for us. All right, so we're going from a tuck position, all right, and then we're going to put our legs out, and then just hold it there.
Ow! Ow!
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, man. And your arms are obviously locked in straight,
Yes,
right?
they have to be completely locked out. Your scapula has to be completely protracted, all right? And then you have to obviously squeeze in your glutes, open up your legs, and hold it there as tight as you can.
What hurts the most when you do that?
Shoulders. Shoulders, your shoulders, your wrist, because this is the two sections where most of the pressure and the load is packed on.
Okay,
all right, so
I got you.
You're leaning forward over your wrist, and you also using your shoulder to obviously press back, and then to obviously hold yourself up there.
Okay, so that was a straddle planche.
It was a straddle planche.
Straight to the top. As hard as it gets. Oh,
right.
man, okay.
So then we've got the full planche, which Luto over here is going to demonstrate for us. So we're going to do it over here. All right, so first, you're going to obviously position yourselves, and then, like I said, protract the scapula. And as you lean over, you begin to lift, and then legs out into straddle, and then close it in into a full.
It's like gravity doesn't exist with this guy, man. Oh,
that's it.
Nice stuff.
All right.
Wow.
So those are two of our hardest variations. Then we've got, which is also a pull movement, we've got front lever, all right, which is what I'm also going to demonstrate over here. So what you need to do, this is actually the opposite movement of a planche, all right? So what you do is in the pull position, you have both arms, you hold on to the bar, you have both arms straight out, and you press down, elevating, pushing your hips forward, and holding yourself up. Let me quickly just demonstrate this for you guys. All right, so you're going down, and you're holding yourself up like that.
Is there gravity here? I'm still believing. What's going on? Wow, man, that is absolutely intense. You honestly make it look so easy. Like, genuinely, I don't think Mzansi really understands how hard this is.
Yeah.
Can I try?
You can.
Can I try?
You can try. You can try.
So I'm strong. Yeah. I'm not like the weakest guy in the world, but I'm just gonna show you how hard this actually is, Mzansi, because, okay, so hands over here.
So hands over there, yes. Feet on the ground.
Feet on the ground.
Right. So what I would actually say is, because you're starting out, we're gonna go into a tuck position first. So you're tucking your knees towards your chest, yes.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, more and more and more and more, and then straightening out the arms, and then try and straighten out the legs.
Whoa!
That's it.
Yo! Mzansi, let me tell you, this is not easy. I don't think I can move after this, but wow. This is calisthenics for you. These are some SA champions over here, and honestly, these moves are absolutely humbling. You don't need much equipment whatsoever. We're working with parallettes right now, and we've got 2 more parts coming at you. I'm gonna start trying a little bit more of this. I think the gents are gonna start teaching us some more of the moves, and especially when it comes to getting into calisthenics. After seeing a demo like that, I think we're all inspired, but I think a lot of you want to get involved in these movements too. So come join us for the next few sessions, because we're going to get involved. We're going to start off with the basics, and hopefully you can become a calisthenics champion in no time. We'll see you in just a bit.
Only you can make my day.
Simple as CBD should be.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back. I am still being humbled right now. We are with 3-time South African calisthenics champion Stanley Geldenhuys in the building, and he's going to be doing something incredible. He has already been exploring the world of calisthenics and what it is all about. We were shown some incredible demos, and speaking of calisthenics, studies have also shown that it's a type of training which is an effective solution to improving your posture, your strength, and your body's composition without the use of any major training equipment. What a beautiful cause. Now, this means that it's absolutely accessible to pretty much everybody out there. So So you, Mzansi, you can join us right now. And Stanley's just joined by another crew member, Tabit, over here. Everybody here in the game just has biceps. It's like a standard thing I see. So Mzansi, you want some big buys, then maybe this is the movement and this is the sport and culture that you want to get involved in. But round one, we saw some incredible moves. We saw a straddle planche. We saw, what else was the
front lever?
Front lever as well. What do you got for us today? And let's get more involved here. I want to get my calisthenics on now.
Yes, no,
so
definitely. All right, so what we're going to demonstrate now is the 90-degree push-up. So these are one of the harder variations of pushing. All right, so you have to start obviously with the handstand push-ups.
Okay.
But we're gonna show you after we've obviously demonstrated what it looks like. Then we're going to break it down for you as to where to start with this movement. All right. So Tabit's going to show us. He's going to go into a ulcer first. And then he's going to press up into a handstand, come down into a hold, all right, into a 90-degree hold, and then push himself up from there again.
Okay.
All right, so we can get going.
And I've got to say, just on the ulcer alone, if you've tried this at home, Mzansi, you'll realize it's not that easy.
All right.
Let's make it look so comfortable already.
So that was the ulcer. So we're moving out of the ulcer into a press. Right, holding himself up. Okay, and then he's going to come down into a 90-degree hold, and pushing himself up, back from there again. And that's it. That's a 90-degree push-up from an ulcer hold. Okay.
Nice, man. Dude,
all right.
Yo, I'm just standing here in awe. I'm like, what?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So first of all, with these movements, obviously, you're not going to start in the parallel. So you want to start on the floor. So basic variation, just to build strength with this movement, is actually what is called the pike push-up. All right. So the pike push-up, you'll start with in a pike position, both hands down.
Yeah.
All right. And then what you're doing is you want to put most of the load on the shoulders by bending down. All right, so you're moving all the way down and then all the way up. In this way,
the rest of your body's not moving at all.
Not at all,
Okay.
yes. So you're staying in a piked up position, moving forward. As you can see, my elbows are shifting backward and not outward.
Yeah.
That's the wrong position for you to be in. Very easy to injure yourself. So you want to then push up from there again. And this way, you want to rep it out. This way you're starting to build strength, and then later on, you'll be able to obviously push yourself up into a handstand.
I want to get down and try that one.
Let's
Tell
try
me if
that
I'm doing
quickly.
it right or not. Okay, so hands are just in front of me.
Yes.
Right, so on my tippy toes.
Yes. So you're moving in, hips up.
Hips are up.
Right.
From here.
Okay. And then from here, you want to have your head face forward. So don't tuck it in.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you want to aim for the floor or for my fist with your forehead, moving down and then moving up from there again. Whew. This way.
Burn on the shoulders, eh?
Yes, no, definitely. Definitely. Hey, strong.
Okay, I'm feeling this. Mzansi doing this as well. This is a proper workout. No equipment needed whatsoever. And let me tell you, the shoulders are absolutely burning. If you were to do this as an exercise, rep-wise, set-wise, how many reps you want to go for in total, maybe? How many sets?
So with these exercises, I normally would recommend 3 sets.
Yeah.
You want to do 8 to 10 reps.
Okay.
All right? Not less than that. If the exercise is too hard for you, what you want to do is you want to move your legs out so that the load on the shoulders is a little bit decreased, and you want to move in this position. And as you get more and more strong, you want to move up. And then if you're strong enough, then you want to put your feet on the elevated surface, and you want to be in that position doing the move, putting more load on the shoulders, and at a later stage, even putting up your feet against the wall, and then doing the handstand push-up.
Until your feet are unassisted.
Unassisted.
And you're free solo, just like your feet over here.
Exactly.
It's incredible to think about the fact that, I mean, you can't just do that straight off the bat. You have to develop so much strength. I mean,
Yes, you do.
The ulcer requires core strength.
Yes.
Your legs have to be on top of their game, your shoulders are tries, and then moving all the way around into the handstand push-up.
Yes.
It's like 60 moves combined into one to create this beautiful movement, man.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely humbling stuff.
All right.
Again, for me, I feel like you don't need much equipment whatsoever. I mean, literally using the floor for this one, it's incredible. Can I try what Tabit did?
Yes,
Can you
please.
take me through the paces?
I can
I've been
definitely
practicing
do
my
that.
ulcer. I can't get up in the handstand so successfully. Maybe you can help me, tell me what I'm doing right or wrong?
Yes.
Don't judge, eh? Just because you're that good, okay? Don't judge me, right? Okay. So coming to ulcer.
So if you can't do the ulcer, because it obviously requires a lot of hamstring flexibility as well, strong hip flexors and a strong lower core, what you can do is actually tuck your legs in. So while you're holding the arms nice and straight and engaging the shoulders, make sure they're not synced in, they're depressed. Right, you want to tuck your legs in and lift them up slowly. Good. So this is a tuck ulcer, which is a basic variation of the ulcer. And then if you get strong in this, you want to have one leg move out Good. And you want to hold it there. And if you can, you want to move the other leg out as well. Good. And you want to hold it there. And then we want to work on the shift. So you can come down from here.
Wow. Whoa, okay.
Right. All right. So secondly, we want to work from the shift, from the ulcer into a tuck 90-degree hold. So what you're doing actually is you're going to tuck your legs in. And as Tabby did it for us before, what you want to do is then shift forward with your shoulders, and you want to hold yourself in the tuck position while keeping your legs nice and tucked in.
All right,
so we're going from the ulcer. Good. We're tucking the legs in. Good. We're moving over forward. Moving over forward. You bend the arms, bend them. Good. And you just want to hold it there.
Oh, my word.
And you come down from there into the ulcer.
Respect, dude. Respect, man. Zanzi, I'm getting humbled out here, but at the same time, a proper workout with some incredibly intense movements. And we've got one more session coming at you in just a bit. We're going to finish this thing off, but whew, I'm already working appetite. Let's head to the kitchen. It's hungry.
Thank you, Raul. Well, listen, after that great workout, it's time for us to be in the kitchen for a healthy bite to eat. And it's also the start of a fresh new week. And we are all about the meat-free Monday inspirational recipes that you need. And our classic vegetarian egg rolls, it is packed with flavor. It's going to pack a punch. And it is really great for the whole family, especially when it comes to sharing dinners. We have the one and only Jenny Morris in the kitchen to show us the brilliance of these delicious classic vegetarian egg rolls. Ooh, this is good.
Classic indeed, darling.
Now, we call them egg rolls, but they're not really wrapped in egg, right?
They're not wrapped in egg, but what they are wrapped in is a beautiful dough that's enriched
by egg.
By some egg.
Okay.
So I just want to get our filling going. And we've got this lovely taco spice, which taco spice is very nice. And I'm throwing it all into the...
our Clover Classic.
Because I want to release the flavour.
I see you used about a tablespoonful of our Clover Classic. And what's amazing is this really is an ideal and versatile fat spread that can be used daily for spreading, cooking, as well as baking. And Jenny Morris is just showing us how to do that. Okay, so you're infusing the spices into our fat spread.
That's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm going to put in some tomato. Can you smell those beautiful aromas coming off the pan?
I'm still too far away.
Just smell that.
Ooh.
And then some lentils, because, I mean, this is going to be a lovely meat-free Monday. I'm loving it. So this is now ready. It's made. It's just going to simmer for 2 minutes. And I'm going to take it off the heat. In the meantime, I'm going to make us a little warm dough. So can you see that?
Yes. So a little bit of water. We're again using our Clover Classic fat spread.
Absolutely. A nice big tablespoon of that. And this is going to go into our dough. You can help me here, Zoe. So just make a little well in the center, and I want you to beat that egg for me.
Inside the...
Well, I'll tell you what, stick it in the center. And then this is going to enrich it. The Clover Classic is going to just make the dough beautiful and light.
So I can go for
delicious. Yeah, go mix, and I'm coming behind you with this.
See, I understand now why chefs have beautiful toned arms. All this mixing and
hard work, here we go.
It is hard work.
But I mean, I've done the hard work for you because I've already got one made up front.
Oh.
So we're going to just stick our stove off. And
look at that.
So this is the general idea, is just keep it moving. So we're going to come to this side now.
So this is the beautiful thing about cooking.
Yes.
And ta-da!
Yes, and it happens.
I can take that for you.
You can take that. And you see I have this beautiful soft dough. Just have a look at that.
Oh.
Give me a little bit of flour on the surface, if you wouldn't mind.
Not at all.
You can make these as big or as small as you want. You can make them kiddie size, picnic size, Sunday dinner size, man size. I will bite size. I'm too greedy for a bite size.
Did you say man size?
Oh, man size. Don't make a big ball. And then you roll it out. Okay. Look there.
Oh. Well. So. I love this. Jenny, you know, this morning on social media, we asked our viewers, because we want to kick off the week on a positive note.
Yes.
Do you perhaps have a message to a friend or a family member, just a message of encouragement for them?
Do you know what? Yes, to Granny.
To Granny.
To Granny, my adoptive Granny. Rosalind, Granny Rosalind. Just keep it up, Granny Ros. You've got all your kids around you. Her daughter's just arrived from Canada.
Oh.
So she's got Wendy and her son and her daughter from Canada. And just know, Granny, you got those kids, but I'm also one of your kids, and I love you.
Aww.
Really is. She's old now, and she's beautiful, and she's from PE. And she's fabulous. Mix those together for me, sweetheart.
Oh, that is so special. So we've got some onion, we've got some tomato.
So the salsa's going to go into this, and we just pack it on the side, and then you give me a little bit of that salsa on top of that, okay? And we leave a little border so that we can roll our rolls. We end up with this beautiful, look at that, this gorgeous little roll.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit over the top.
Balance.
That's my girl.
There you go.
And a little bit of vodka. You can use your fingers, but it's always better to use a brush. Now, you know what? I like to use a paintbrush, because it doesn't have natural bristles.
Oh.
So it's a halal one, it's a kosher one.
It's perfect.
And it's easy, yeah, because it's synthetic. So that's a little tip out there, guys.
Oh, look at that. So while Jenny is rolling this, we did use our Clover Classic medium fat spread. And with Clover Classic, you stand a chance to win your share of 500,000 Rand in prizes. Now, to enter, buy any Clover Classic custard, dairy snack, fat spread or mayonnaise, and WhatsApp the till slip of your purchase to 074 909 0000. T's and C's do apply, and those can be found on clover.co.za. Classic, timeless taste. Now, if you want to get your hands on this delicious recipe, we have it available on our website, that is expressoshow.com. So, Jenny, we filled it, and now how do we cook it? In the air fryer.
We're going to air fry it, sweetheart, and it goes.
In it goes. There we go.
Air fryers are just incredible, you know that.
It really is. And we just pop it in.
You just pop it in.
There we go. Our vegetarian egg rolls for breakfast. It is done. Make sure you get your hands on this recipe. It's available at expressoshow.com.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we delve back into our sporting chat this morning. I would imagine quite a few Liverpool fans nursing just a little bit of the festivities over the weekend. Chelsea fans maybe nursing their bruises just a little bit. Of course, the two teams took each other on in the FA Cup on Saturday, with Liverpool running out 6-5 winners on penalties after the match ended 0-0 after 120 minutes. That's not to say that both sides didn't have their chances. We're going to put it to you guys. If you want to have your say, give us a shout to 021 110 452. We'd love to hear from you. You can also head over to the Expresso Morning Show Facebook page and air your grievances or celebrate, because we want to continue celebrating. How important in a season like this, when we look at that track record from a fan's perspective, because we need anchors. And a trophy, a piece of silverware is an anchor. It's something that says something about where the team is, the culture of winning, where that brand of football is at the moment. How important is this FA Cup in the grand scheme of things? If you'd lost this and gone on to win the Champions League, would it matter?
I don't think it would have mattered. It would have put a damper on the spirit of wanting to achieve all of this, you know, getting all of the cups. It would have put a damper on that. But I don't think it would have meant that, oh, it's an unsuccessful season, for example. It's still a successful season. We're still playing fantastic football. We're still feeling good about what's happening at the club. And yes, there are lots of questions being asked around salaries and are players okay with it? Is everyone happy? But then you see the reward of what the club stands for, and you see Jurgen Klopp signing an extension of extra 2 years onto his contract.
Because silverware does keep coaches in their position.
It keeps coaches in their position. It also motivates the players at the club. There's a lot of talk around Sadio Mane might be going to Real Madrid. You know, Mohamed Salah might be leaving the club. There's lots of talk and speculation around that. I'm one that I lay off all the rumours, wait for it all to play out. But what's happening at this very moment, we see a club where everyone, players as well as coaching staff, seem extremely happy, and I think that makes everyone.
Because ultimately the players need to be as motivated by the culture of the club as they are by the finances. And of course we've got some comments coming through, as we thought would hit our Facebook page this morning. Let's see how the people are feeling. We've got Guten Morgen Mzansi weighing in saying Werder Bremen promoted back to the Bundesliga, Spurs beating Burnley, Cape Town City a step closer to the Champions League, Stellenbosch beating Sundowns. Those are my week and highlights. Pretty good highlights there.
Good ones,
well done.
Good one.
Mark Gavin saying my German King Shabbat is still wearing her Liverpool jersey, and Tammy is confident we're going to win the EPL and the Champions League.
Lekker.
And that's the bottom line. There is still the opportunity to, I think, take part in what promises to be a classic. This Champions League is setting up. So I want you to think about that final hurdle and what it's going to take.
For sure.
When you look at this Chelsea side, how close they have come, how close they could have been to having some kind of mark of success, because they have achieved a lot this season. How frustrating is it, and what is the next turn when you look at these young players that we've been so excited to discover, the Vanners of the world, getting these guys into that team, we were like, wow, these are the best young players in world football. What's needed to make this team click?
You see, this is the thing. We need characters in that team. We've got the quality, we've got the depth, but we don't have that attitude.
We thought Lukaku would be that.
We don't have that Diego Costa ruthlessness up front. Look at, if we're talking about Timo Werner, we were actually wondering, what does Tuchel have against him? Because, you know, we haven't seen him, like, come on as we wanted to, although, to be fair, he did pull up before the game started on Saturday. But, like I said, our strikers are goal shy. And if you look at Timo Werner, once again, he's come from the Bundesliga into the Premier League, two totally different leagues.
Tempos,
You know, there's one person that's obviously proved that he can do it in all the leagues, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo, you know. But I think we need... We need that
you need that talisman striker,
Like I've said, you know, we've seen Lukaku up front, and I mean, I'm not sure he's the answer. When he came, there was a lot of skepticism around that he was not, you know, the answer.
He's a goal poacher, and I can understand why they thought that he would need to fill, or why he would be the ideal player.
But what you're doing in Serie A, you can't necessarily replicate in the Premier League. Same story goes for Timo Werner, you know.
You've got to find your feet. Let's hope that they can, because they've done so well. And this is what I've always loved about Chelsea, is they have a brilliant channel to kind of create young stars. They've definitely got all of the potential there. Maybe the rest of the season is just about thinking about next season. From a Liverpool perspective, it's now the next 5 minutes are just as important. How do we keep our focus on the league? Are you nervous about the run-in in any way? How do you see the final league stanza playing out?
Yeah. Well, not nervous at all. I'm enjoying it. Whether we take the league or not, it would be nice to have that, you know, in the hopes of getting the quadruple this season. But if we don't get it, you know, if it doesn't work out, doesn't matter. So it would be nice, eh? It would be nice. So we've got our next match against the Saints on Tuesday. We've got the 22nd of May, the final day of league matches. All of them kick off at the same time. That's exciting. We've got a match against Wolves. You know, there's no love lost between that two clubs. What's going to be interesting is what will happen between Manchester City and Aston Villa on that final day. And I'm almost inclined to say I want to be watching that match on the day.
And you know,
Gerard,
Frank,
give it to you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He owes us a Premier League.
he owes you a Champions
He
League.
owes us a Premier League.
That does not slip.
Well, there's Philippe Coutinho. He's just signed a new contract at Aston Villa, and I'm excited about it.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. The villains are going to want it more than you want it, even for their man at the helm. I guarantee you no love will be lost over the next 2 weeks of football, but this is where we sit. Who's going to win this title? Who's going to get into the Champions League? Who's going to win the Champions League? All setting up for classic run-ins at the end of the season. To the Chelsea fans, don't lose hope. You've got some superstars in that team. And clearly fans who are willing to pick themselves up on a Monday morning and come in despite losing the FA Cup final. So I applaud both of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the season. Just stay brave. You've got this, guys. Take it game by game. And again, to the Chelsea fans, just to make you feel a little bit better, let's put our Liverpudlian fan through his paces one more time.
One more time, indeed. And of course, I've never, ever cheered on for Steven Gerrard to do so well than I have for the next game that's coming up against City. But enough of that. Let's get back to the world of calisthenics. And it is by far a far-reaching one. And it can be done at some level by pretty much almost anybody, really. And that's what we're showing you today. Now, sports teams and military units often perform leader-directed group calisthenics as a form of synchronized physical training, and that increases the group's cohesion as well as discipline. So top benefits when it comes to involving this in group sessions, and it's also popular as a component of physical education in primary and secondary schools. And a man who is at the top level of this type of training is Stanley Geldenhuys, who joins us one last time this morning to take us through a calisthenics routine, and he's got his crew with him, Thabit and Luto. The guys are full of power, full of everything else that you need, strength, you name it. And I think the first two sessions, guys, were incredible. Humbling, but at the same time, I think a lot of education coming through for Mzansi and everybody else that's not aware of calisthenics. I'm sure they're inspired. And I know you got some one last fun session for us to do, and hopefully we can all get involved in this, right?
Yes, no, definitely.
So maybe Mzansi, this is their cue to also join us now?
Yes, no, definitely.
Okay,
so right where you are, what we'll be doing now is basic push-up variations. These are quite fun to get involved in, and also what attracts most people and what most people find is not the serious part of training, but more the fun part of training. So what we'll be doing is we're going to start with basic push variations. So if we can quickly just all get into a push-up position.
Go down, team.
Right here. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to be doing is called plyometric push-ups, also known as explosive push-ups. All right, so the first variation is the clap push-up. All right, so what you basically want to do is you want to push down, and as you come up, you want to sort of explode off your hands. So that's the first part of doing the clap push-up. All right, so if you guys are ready, we firstly just going to go down, just push as hard as you can off, and then land back in there. All right, so what we do, that's it.
All right, you've got to put a lot of power into the push to get yourself off the ground.
Definitely.
And I notice if I don't have my core engaged, the body just kind of bends.
Yes, it does.
Everything's got to be primed for that already.
Definitely.
Okay,
definitely.
nice.
All right, a basic variation of that, if you can't do the push with your feet straight and knees off the floor, what you can do is get a mat, all right? And in this case, drop your knees onto the floor, lift your feet off the floor, go down, and you can push off and sort of land back onto your hands again.
So that's like a nice graded exercise if you're not at that level yet.
Definitely.
Mzansi, like we said, you got no excuse. You don't need equipment, you don't need to have any strength level. You can start off at the very basics and head all the way to the top of here. I like that, man.
All right.
That's awesome. Okay.
Cool. And then, so what we'll do is we'll go into a more advanced version of it. So what you want to do then is just bring your hands together, clap, all right?
Okay.
And then land back into that position.
All right.
So first of all, we're going back into that position again, so you guys can join in. All right, so what we want to do is push down and then push up and clap and land. All right, so we're going to be doing three of those quickly in a row, just so you can feel how it feels and have a bit of fun. All right.
See how easy or how hard 3 reps is going to be.
All right. All right. All right. Let's go. We go. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay.
And if
the conclusion, it's hard. It's hard. 3 reps is almost enough when you do something that explosive, right?
Definitely.
How many reps would you guys do when it comes to something like clap push-ups?
So something like clap push-ups, we'll do anything from 10 to 15 reps.
Okay.
Yeah, just to get the pump and also to kind of get that bit of an exhaustion during your workout as well. Because as much as it is strength, it is also endurance.
Endurance and the conditioning
a little
of that
bit
muscle.
and conditioning. Yes, definitely. So we're going to make it a bit more interesting. We're going to add a clap between our legs. All right.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Maybe I should watch this one first.
All right. So the full variation of this, all right, just before we all go down, is going to be down, up,
what?
and land back into that position.
I feel like the camera needs to go in slow-mo for this one. Can I see that again? Wait, one more time.
Let me do it the other way around for you as well. Okay, so you go down, up, and then back into that
both
position.
your legs coming off the ground. You're basically flying.
Definitely.
So you're flying off the push-up into flying. Yeah, Stanley, okay. I'm going to try this one. I don't know how well it's going to go.
So where you'll start with this is you'll not fly off the ground first.
Yeah.
So once you've got the clap push-up, you've got the explosiveness, what you want to do first is just step onto the front leg and clap in between, all right? So what you're going to do is you push off, you put one leg in front of you, clap, and put this leg back.
So
up. That's it.
Okay.
Good. So that would be a basic variation. And you'll do the same with the other leg as well. Because you obviously want to change your legs. That's it.
Whew. Even that on its own is quite hard.
Definitely. Whew. All right. Okay. So you guys want to do it all together?
Let's try one. Let's try it all together.
So we're doing 3.
Okay.
All right.
3 reps. Mzansi, wish us luck. I hope you're going to join in with us.
Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And it's 1, 2, 3. And that's it, guys.
Dan, Luto, Tabit, you guys have been absolutely incredible. You guys are champions when it comes to calisthenics. I wish you all nothing but the best of luck for your champs. And thank you for serving us and educating Mzansi on this incredible sport, this movement. And I think a lot of you have been inspired. Of course, you can reach these guys online. I think it's Mad Stan online. You can find them, man, on all these crazy moves. But I hope you enjoyed them, Mzansi. I hope you've been inspired. And I hope you carry on with your strength journey. Nice stuff, guys.
Thank you very much.
One in 2 healthy South African women suffer from iron deficiency. Speak to your healthcare professional about getting tested and treated for iron deficiency. Brought to you by FerryMed.
Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3. We're connecting with you on social media, and today's a special one because today's question is actually not much of a question. We want to start the week off on a positive note, and we've asked you if you have a friend or a family member that you want to send a message of encouragement to. And let's take a look at what you had to say.
I love it, man. Such a good idea to start a new week. Rose Chetty weighed in with this, just a message to all that no matter what challenges you are facing, believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Strengthen yourself by having hope in God. Thank you, Rose. That's beautiful.
Shivi says, message to my son, your courage and strength during the tough times in your life will pass. I want to say, keep that positive spirit and stay blessed. This time will pass and our great God will come through for sure.
This too shall pass.
How beautiful.
I love that. Please, if there is someone in your life right now that you know is going through the most, that is facing those challenges, just give them a little bit of encouragement. It's amazing how having someone in your corner can change your outlook on life. And in fact, we're going to be focusing on healing and developing that positive energy within ourselves in light of everything that we've been through over the last couple of years. So stay tuned for that. 021 110 552 is the number to call if you want to weigh in on our discussion about healing in just a moment. Right now, let's bring you up to speed with those news headlines.
Thanks, guys, so much. Of course, this has gone past the hour. It's time to take a look at our headlines when it comes to news, and starting on national fronts, which is bringing us the following. Due to a continued loss of generating capacity, stage 2 load shedding was implemented from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock or 10 p.m. yesterday. Now, this evening and tomorrow evening, load shedding will be implemented at stage 3, also from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. tonight. Now, thereafter, it will be reduced to stage 2 for the rest of the week at the same times. Now, the power utility said it would continue to closely monitor the system. Now, sticking to our national news fronts and heading to our president, where President Cyril Ramaphosa says there should be no excuse for exploiting child labor. Now, addressing delegates in Durban during the 5th Global Conference on the elimination of child labor, Ramaphosa said the increasing numbers of children being forced into child labor delays efforts to eradicate it by 2025. Now, the president said such exploitative labor practices are also disallowed as they impact the child's spiritual, moral, and social development. Now, the International Labour Organization says some 160 million children globally are laborers, and over half of them range between the ages of 5 and 11. Well, from our national news headlines, now we head over to international news. Now, the leaders of Finland and Sweden have announced that they back their countries applying to join NATO in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, the move changes decades of Finnish policy toward the Cold War era military alliance, and it upends more than 2 centuries of Swedish policy. Now, Sweden has avoided all military alliances, but like Finland, has also grown closer to NATO over time. Now, the decisions stand as a major rebuke to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who sent troops into Ukraine in Feb, in part to prevent NATO's enlargement. Now, next up, more than 18.5 million children in Nigeria have no access to education, with girls accounting for more than half of the number. Now, the UN Children's Fund, otherwise known as UNICEF, had the following to say. Now, some 11,000 11,000 schools have closed since December 2020 due to insecurity, this said by UNICEF. And since Boko Haram jihadists kidnapped more than 200 schoolgirls from the northeastern town of Chibok in 2014, dozens of schools have been targeted in similar mass abductions. And last year, gunmen abducted about 1,500 school children, with 16 losing their lives. This being reported from UNICEF. Now, next up in our international news, Ukraine rap folk band Kalush Orchestra have won the Eurovision Song Contest in Turin, Italy, in a symbolic show of public support following the country's invasion by Russia. Now, the rap folk band soared to first place and ended its performance with a plea and quoted, "Please help Ukraine, help Mariupol, help Azovstal right now," unquote. Now, Sam Ryder came second for the UK, the country's best result since 1998. And Spain was third, with the slickly choreographed slow-mo performed flawlessly by Cuban Spanish singer Chanel Terrero. Now, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky congratulated Kalush Orchestra and vowed to one day host Eurovision in, and quote, "a free, peaceful and rebuilt Mariupol," unquote. Now, referencing the port city that is mostly under Russian control, Ukraine had been favorites to win for weeks. Now, their winning song, Stefania, is is a unique combination of old Ukrainian folk melodies and traditional flute with contemporary rap and hip-hop beats. Now, its lyrics about broken roads and fields turning green seemed oddly prescient given the devastation facing the country's citizens. Now, the Eurovision show opened with a rendition of John Lennon's Give Peace a Chance, performed by 1,000 musicians on the streets of Turin. Well, on that lighter note, I leave you with the rest of the headlines. Here's the G-Man with the update and latest on sport.
Thank you so much. Well, let's hone in on Orlando Pirates, and I'm sure they can be pleased with their performance this weekend, despite going down, because they have reached the CAF Confederations Cup final on Sunday. That's despite a shock 1-0 loss to Libyan visitors Al Ahly Tripoli in a semi-final second leg. So Pirates thankfully had built a 2-0 first leg lead in Benghazi last Sunday, and as a result qualified 2-1 on aggregate for a second final appearance in the second tier of African competition. Ali Abu Arkoub scored on 89 minutes to set up a pretty tense finish that included 4 minutes of added time, and a second Ahly goal would have taken the semi-final to a penalty shootout, but the tired visitors never really threatened to score a second time at Orlando Stadium. So as a result, Pirates will now play RS Berkane in the final. That's after they beat TP Mazembe 3-2 on aggregate. And of course, well, Liverpool were beating Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Manchester City, back in the league, came from 2-0 down to salvage a vital point in their 2-2 draw at West Ham. That was to keep their Premier League title in their hands. So City needed a maximum of 4 points from their final 2 games of the season to guarantee a 4th title in just 5 years. But it was Jarron Bowen who opened the scoring in the 24th minute before doubling the Hammers' lead on the stroke of half-time to give them hope. Then Jack Grealish got one back after the resumption of play before Vladimir Soufal scored an own goal to seal the result. The City could have won the game, but Riyad Mahrez had his penalty saved by Lucas Fabianski. Then elsewhere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Harry Kane's penalty moved Spurs into 4th position with a nervy 1-0 win over Burnley. So Antonio Conte's men now move 2 points ahead of North London rivals Arsenal, who'll be travelling to Newcastle tonight. That's in a battle for a place in next season's Champions League, and it's really hotting up. Some other results saw Everton lose out 3-2 against Brentford, who fought hard. That while Leeds and Brighton, as well as Palace and Aston Villa, all drew 1 apiece. Then Leicester, they came back strong, thumping Watford 5-1, with Jamie Vardy and Harvey Barnes both scoring twice. Then we move on to tragic news in the world of cricket. Cricket Australia's chairman, Lachlan Henderson, said, and we quote, "Australian cricket has lost another of its very best." Now, it was after the tragic news that former all-rounder Andrew Symonds died in a car crash over the weekend. The 46-year-old, who played 26 tests and 198 ODIs for Australia from 1998 to 2009, was involved in a single-car accident outside Townsville in Queensland State on Saturday night. Pictures published by the Brisbane Courier Mail showed a vehicle on its roof and skid marks on the road. Now, Symonds was a pretty explosive batsman, but also a top-rate fielder, and was definitely a key part of Australia's back-to-back 50-over World Cup triumphs. That was in 2003 and 2007. And then it looks like their prep for Roland Garros is going well. Let's turn to tennis now, as Novak Djokovic has won his 6th Italian Open title. It was after a 6-love, 7-6 victory over old foe Stefano Tsitsipas. The world #1 saw off Monte Carlo Masters champion Tsitsipas to claim the last major tournament before Roland Garros gets underway later this month, and was the 34-year-old's first tournament win of the season. And then the women's world #1, Iga Swiatek, underlined her position, defended her Italian Open title with a dominant performance over newcomer Ons Jabeur, beating her 6-2, 6-2. So the Polish 20-year-old has now won 28 matches on the trot and 5 consecutive tournaments. That's why she's #1. That's where we leave our sport for this hour. We'll touch on those headlines again in about an hour or so. Right now, though, let's see what's headed our way weather-wise.
Thank you, Graham. Well, we'll also bring you a snippet of some interesting news on volcanoes. The eruption of the Tonga volcano in January of this year has been confirmed as the largest explosion ever recorded in the atmosphere by modern instrumentation. It was far bigger than any 20th century volcanic event or indeed any nuclear bomb test conducted after World War II. The assessment comes in a pair of scholarly papers in the journal Science, and that has been reviewed all of the data. Of recent history, it's likely only the Krakatoa eruption of 1883 that rivaled the atmospheric disturbance produced. That catastrophic event in Indonesia is thought to have claimed more than 30,000 lives. Fortunately, the 15 January climatic eruption of the underwater volcano in the South Pacific resulted in very few deaths, even though it has produced large tsunamis, and people 10,000 kilometers away in Alaska reported hearing the repeated booms. And we now head back to our shores, where we certainly experience a lunar eclipse, and you can see the full flower moon turning red. So we're asking all of our viewers to send through their beautiful pictures capturing this event, and we'll share it with the rest of South Africa. Nicole Cannon from Grahamstown is kicking us off for our 7 a.m. update with this stunning shot of the sky displaying different hues of orange and red. And then one of our regulars, Josephine Pickstone from Muizenberg, captured this bright and bold sunrise on a popular scenic route called Boys Drive. Absolutely beautiful. Well, let's quickly look at your temperatures. If you're in Polokwane, a low of 9 and a high of 20 for today. Mbombela 15, reaching a high of 22. Pretoria 10, 22. Johannesburg 9, reaching a high of 20. Partly cloudy in Mahikeng, 8 is your low, 22 your high. Cloudsdorp 7, reaching a high of 23. A sunny day in Kimberley, 10 is your low, 25 your high. Bloemfontein 4, 23. Richards Bay, 15 is your low, 25 your high. Pietermaritzburg sunny, reaching a high of 23. If you're in Durban today, 15 is your low, 25 your high. Mthatha, a low of 9, a high of 26. Sunny conditions in East London, 16, 26. Cradock 6, reaching a high of 25. A sunny day in Gqeberha, a low of 15, a high of 26. If you're in George today, a sunny day with a high of 27. Cape Town 14, reaching a high of 27. Worcester 16, reaching a high of 31. Sutherland 9, 23. And Uppington, a beautiful day ahead. It's sunny with a low of 13 and a high of 30 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where I leave your weather for now on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you, Zozo. Time for a treat as we meet our performer this morning. Lucan Joshua is undoubtedly a multifaceted music brand, if you will. He's an indie folk solo singer-songwriter, and you'll get a taste of that this morning. Multi-instrumentalist. He's a DJ and also happens to be a music producer. Maybe that's because he has to. That's how you get ahead in the music industry now. I cannot wait to find out more, and he's joining us on the couch to tell us about his debut single and the music video, What Makes Us Fly. But before we get to know him, let's get a little sneak peek.
Deep within our souls, friends, family, need us more than we thought we could be. Oh, we've all hurt, we've all lost, we've all paid a price for more than what it costs. We're all here for one thing, and together we sing to Lada.
We love it. Ladies and gentlemen, a massive round of applause for Lucan Joshua's in the house!
Thanks so much. Good to be here. Good to be here, man. Thank you.
Well, I love it because before I even got to talk to you, I was able to listen to you sound check, which is the perfect intro,
man. I'm so glad.
You just set a tone in the studio. There's an energy, there's a tone to your voice that's absolutely beautiful. But
thank you.
We haven't had you on the couch before. I've got to ask, how are you, Guy? After the last 3 mad years, or maybe it's 5, I've lost count. It's been a strange time for musicians, for artists, people working in the musical space. How are you doing, and where's your musical head at after these crazy 2 years?
It has been crazy. It has been mental. But you know what? I think the whole journey of lockdown was really just an experience to have a little bit of a reset button pressed, you know? And it's been awesome. It hasn't always been easy, that's for sure. But I mean, geez Louise, have I had so much inspiration to write, especially when it comes to just having so much time to yourself in lockdown. I mean, it's nuts.
And this is a gift, and this is universally. I was interviewing Adam Duritz from the Counting Crows. Hasn't written music in 7 years.
Oh my word.
Just released an album. Why? Because he had time.
Yeah.
For an artist coming up where you are in terms of your performance work as a singer-songwriter, how much of a luxury is it to have had the time to actually put together a body of work on this, being a producer, work on your sound? Because you don't really get that. Normally, you've got to have a million different hats on just to get that first single out.
Yeah.
So
No,
how does it
absolutely.
feel being able to get to this point, be creative and let yourself breathe in that sense?
You know what, Graham? It's amazing. It's been incredible. I do have to wear a lot of hats a lot of the time. So much so that I'm not too good when it comes to time management. So I've had to now invest in, you know, these kind of apps where you kind of log your time and you have to make sure, okay, social media hours this one, production hours this one. And while I'm busy with my own music, I'm also producing for other musicians locally as well. So it does get busy, but you know what? I feel like working with different musicians as well fuels my own passion.
For sure.
And, you know, I was grateful for lockdown for the fact that I got to actually sit down, all the distractions were taken away, and I could actually just get into my own head and my own heart. And
you could ask big questions like, what makes us fly? What makes us fly, brother? Give us a bit of background. This is the song that you have chosen with your producer's mind and your artist's mind to represent this next phase of your career. What's the song about?
So, as you know, I think every single person standing in this room, as well as everyone out there, was affected by lockdown in a very negative way, whether it was losing someone, you know, personal, or whether it was, you know, losing business, whatever it was, we were all impacted by it, you know. So throughout the journey of lockdown, I was looking at all of this and I was like, you know, as a creative, I have a responsibility to meet a need over here, to actually write something that everyone can relate to, regardless of what circumstance they might be finding themselves in, you know. And the song itself states, we've all hurt, we've all lost, and we've all paid a price for way more than it cost.
Yeah,
you know? So,
completely, man.
I decided that I want to write something that people can perform for themselves. And if there's something that impacted me personally so much throughout lockdown was unity, is how people actually came together. And I was like, I have to write about it. I have to write something that everyone can sing.
It's an anthem, man, and we love anthems because we need this. And I think what we've needed, certainly in our kind of collective industry in the performing arts, I don't think we would have survived without each other. So this morning, we've been asking our amazing viewers to share their messages of support or thank you for the people that have gotten them through it. And it feels like this is where your musical head is at the moment.
Absolutely.
Is there someone in your life, maybe more than one person, a family member, a friend, that you want to speak to right now to say thank you, or to give them the words of encouragement that they might need, that helped you get through the last stanza?
Wow. Well, all I can say is, I mean, the people in my life I'm truly blessed by. It's amazing to have them in my life, you know, having two very loving parents all the way in Johannesburg. I love you guys. And, you know, my girlfriend is also the most supportive person in my life. And, you know, for the people that are still struggling with this aftermath of what lockdown is still continuing to do, or what COVID's continuing to do, all I can say is, you know, you are way more loved than you will ever actually realize. And there are people standing with you. There are people that support you in whatever you want to do. And we're all in this together, you know. So that's the reason why I wrote the song, is to provide that comfort and that support.
Oh, cannot wait to hear you perform it for the million people that are going to get to watch it and hopefully be inspired this morning. Just having you here is inspiring for us. We cannot wait to see you do what you do out on that stage. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know for the musos, this is a very early start, okay? But we love it. And it's not just a private performance. For me, it's for you. If you need hope, if you need inspiration this morning, stick around. We're going to be chatting about healing when it comes to getting over what we have dealt with over the last 2 years, and we're going to get a performance from this incredible human being. Stick around. Welcome back. Yes, I did take a deep breath because we're about to get into quite a heavy discussion, but I think something all of us need to broach now because we've been in survival mode for the longest time, and this Monday we are switching things up and bringing a little bit of light to a very important issue, one we've all come to deal with in one way or another, and that's pandemic PTSD. Illness, grief, job loss, social isolation, uncertainty, and other pandemic-driven stresses, and they've been a dynamic list of. They've contributed to an increase in psychological distress on a global scale. And today we are joined by a panel of experts to unpack this topic. Clinical psychologist and award-winning poet Musawinkosi Kanyele, motivational speaker and life coach Lucia Dramat, as well as our resident clinical psychologist Slendile Mbata. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to encourage all of you guys at home to please share your thoughts, any insights, any questions. Give us a call right now, 021 110 552. But before we open up the discussion, let's hear from one of our viewers about how this pandemic has affected him.
Let's take a listen.
Good morning, Expresso. Thank you so much for starting my Monday off with such a pertinent topic. To some of us, the pandemic may have been a minor inconvenience, but to others like myself, it has changed me fundamentally. Unfortunately, I lost my mom to COVID last year, and although I was surrounded by so many loved ones, I've never felt so isolated. I am so thankful to therapy and to a handful of strong support in my life for getting me to a point where I'm comfortable to speak about this and to say that even though I'm still really sad and missing her, I am strong enough to get through this, and I hope that whoever is listening and has also experienced loss can take comfort by this message and by what you guys are sharing today.
Sure. I think a lot of people can relate to that message, and a lot of these are, I mean, so many people have similar stories at the moment, and I'm going to start it off with you, Musa and Slee. In terms of PTSD and in context with this pandemic, how is this possible, you know, that this is affecting him, but how do people find ways to cope with all of the stresses going on?
So, I mean, it can be very, very difficult actually to cope. And one of the things that the pandemic did was, because of the restrictions, was to actually take away a lot of the typical coping mechanisms that people have, like, you know, social interaction, getting that social support, perhaps going to the gym, interacting in social activities. So coping has taken on very different forms. And a lot of people have found themselves perhaps reaching out for therapeutic support for the very first time. And, you know, finding ways to cope at home with other loved ones. So it really has been a challenge, I think, probably more than at any other time in our lives. Yeah.
And maybe, maybe we should first unpack what PTSD is, because we don't want to assume that everyone at home knows what PTSD is. PTSD is, of course, post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a persisting reaction to tragedy. I'm stressing the word persisting because that is what makes the distinction between the normal reaction to trauma or tragedy and PTSD.
And that cycle repeating itself over and over.
You get stuck in the reaction to the trauma. Unfortunate events happen in our lives. Tragic things happen. We get involved in car accidents. We lose our loved ones. There's a lot of loss that we have to come to terms with. The distinction with PTSD is that unlike coming to terms with loss or finding a way to go back to your normal functioning, with PTSD you get stuck in experiencing the trauma.
Okay. And that cycle just keeps repeating itself. And this is such, I keep using the word dynamic because there are so many motivators here. Some of us lost everything financially. And you sit there, you're looking and thinking, how is this possible? How come the risk is a minor flu and I've lost everything? Everything. And there are so many people who've lost everything. Then I'll sit down and interview someone who's lost both parents and a sibling. How do you put this into context? Because every person is coming from a completely different angle. Why do some people suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome? Why are others able to bounce back? What is that defining factor that kind of sends a person in a different direction? Why do we have different skills?
I'll definitely say I'll let the psychologist dive deep into the psychology behind it, but for me, it's a focus on mindset. There has to be the self-awareness, and you have to know, okay, I am actually not coping. I need a little bit of help here.
It's okay not to be okay. Yeah.
Yes, and then if you're focusing on your mindset, you're seeing where it's going. You're trying to fill yourself with the good. You're trying to encourage yourself. You know what you're thinking. These thoughts are not healthy. These thoughts are going in a bad direction. Here, I'm going to get some support. So if you're self-aware, if you have your mindset focused. And then the last thing I would also say that is vitally important is that you have to know, am I a fight, am I a flight, am I a freeze person? Some people, they look busy and they look okay because they're fighting, you know, they're making things happen. But they're not actually okay. So they look okay on the outside, and then other people completely freeze, other people just run away. They don't want to face it at all. So also being aware of how you're reacting. Sometimes it looks good, but it isn't actually good.
And it is okay not to be okay, because I guarantee you half the world, 90% of the world right now is not okay. But we're going to continue this discussion in just a moment. We are talking about vulnerability. We are talking about healing. And you can give us a call. 021-110-552 is the number to call. Maybe you've got a personal perspective that you'd like to share with us, something that could enlighten us. Or maybe you just need to ask a question or need a little bit of help. We are here for you. Give us a shout.
An incredible panel standing by to serve you, Mzansi. And we're here to serve you as well in the kitchen right now. And here's a fact. Cooking engages our senses and can activate memories. But did you know that allowing yourself to be immersed in these memories as you cook is a therapeutic way to relieve stress and boost your mood? Yeah, that's what's up.
Made with love by Clover.
Yes, Mzansi back in the kitchen right now. We're talking about pasta and pasta bakes, which make for the ultimate family meal. And the best part is that you can prepare them in advance, so no need to stress last minute. We got you covered, and the kitchen's already cooking. And Jenny Morris is here to show us how it's done. And this olive pride orecchietta, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, bolognese pasta bake. It's simply bellissimo. Jenny, did I get the name right?
Almost, darling.
Almost.
Orecchiette.
Orecchiette.
And it means little ears.
Huh?
Little ears.
Okay.
And it's a southern Italian dish, and I think it originated in Puglia. And
I'm assuming the little ears because of the little ear shape.
The shape. And if you have a look at this, just pick it up, you'll see that the center is very thin, but on the outside,
It's a little bit thicker.
it's a bit thicker because it catches all the beautiful sauce.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Yum. Well, I hope there's a lot of good sauce to be caught.
Oh, darling,
and it
there's
looks like you have ticked that box already. So what are you up to over there in the pan?
So I'm making, it's almost like a bolognese.
Okay.
Lovely mince filling.
All right.
And just onions and some beautiful garlic and tomato.
Okay.
You're going to get that nice and browned. In the meantime, what you're going to do for your mama
Yes,
is
I got
you're
you.
going to put one fine layer of orecchiette on the bottom of your dish.
Can I use one of these?
Yes, darling.
Voila.
And I'm going to,
I'm just saying, I love how, with a lot of these meals, they start off quite conventionally.
Yes.
So, I mean, just what you're doing with the mince, kind of activating and bringing it to life there. It's nothing crazy or above the norm.
No.
So for a lot of us, we can get into this meal quite easily already, right?
Very, very easily.
Yes.
And I mean, if you're a vegetarian, you could even do this with lentils or soya mince.
Oh, yes. Make it a meat-free Monday, why don't you?
Meat-free Monday one if you want to. And then we're going to layer that. So I want a little bit of cottage cheese. Just take that cottage cheese and whip its ass. Just
whip it. All right, let me whip it before I pop it in there.
A little bit of a layer, only half.
Okay, half of that goes on top.
Cheese.
All right. So half of the cottage cheese is going to go on top of my base of little ears.
Beautiful. Yes.
We've got our cheese going on top of that. Also half the cheese on you, right?
Yes, half the cheese.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you half of the mint, and then we're going to do another layer. So it's going to be creamy, and it's going to be gorgeous and cheesy. Just spread it,
Layers
darling.
of goodness, layers
All
of
that
indulgence,
goodness.
layers of memory-making magic. I love it.
Look at that. And I like a lot of pepper. So let's
Yum.
just pepper this up.
Okay, almost done with my first layer of cottage cheese. It's really looking really good.
Nice.
Just gonna spread it out a little bit over here. And then I'm ready for my cheese.
Do you know what I like about this dish?
Yeah.
Is that you can make it in the morning and bake it the next day.
And wouldn't that mean that more of the flavor actually comes through as well, right?
Lovely, it'll suck up everything beautifully. So it's a
Yum.
nice, convenient dish. Now give me some more cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese coming up. And let me talk to you about the other hero ingredient that we are busy with right now.
Yes,
And that is, of course, our olive pride. It's a blend which is highly recommended for hot applications such as frying, grilling, stewing, and baking, or like the meal that we are preparing right now. So it also has a high smoke point, which maintains an olive flavor to enhance the flavor of this dish. And let me tell you, olive combined with everything that we have now is like bellissimo Italiano on another level. Yes, please.
Yes, baby, look at that.
Oh, it looks good. How quick was this, by the way?
Oh, it's very quick because I did it.
Of course. Jenny never disappoints.
Give me that last little bit of
cottage cheese.
Cottage
You want me to pop it on top?
Waste not one part.
Waste not
And then
one.
we just end off with, and you know what I love about this, when you like break into it, you could also put a little bit of mozzarella, which you could mix with your cottage cheese, because then you get those beautiful long...
That sounds delicious.
Yes, like little fires. Don't waste anything. I love it, love it, love it. And then we'll just put a little bit of cracked pepper on top and stick it in the oven. I've made one for you.
And then voila, we're done.
We're done, darling.
That is so simple, so easy. I think basically just adding something simple like the pasta we had really just combine something special with a dish that I think with a lot of the ingredients we're quite familiar with already, which is something I love. So a great spin on a beautiful meal, Jenny.
It's
well
nice,
done.
It's a beautiful baked
Put the final product over there. Do you mind if I get a taste?
You can have some, darling.
Oh, yes.
You know I love to feed
you.
you.
Mzansi can get this recipe. It's expresso.com. With me and my dirty hands, I'm just going to tuck into this quickly. Let me get a nice piece here.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
oh, wow. Do you want a spoon? Take my big spoon.
Exactly what you spoke about. It just breaks up.
It just breaks up and
shows
it's
you all the left. Let me get a bigger
take the
spoon here.
darling, because you don't
just
want to
making a mess. I'm getting too excited. Ooh, the cheese is still
You see the cottage cheese? It's kind of kept its shape a little bit. Happy mouth.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank
you, Mzansi, for watching us, and I hope you get on this inspiration right now. Expresso.com. It's a beautiful meal. It is a bellissimo. Let us put the proof in the pudding.
Happy.
Magnifique. Magnifique. Expresso.com. Get some of this magic. It is so good. Well done.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
is your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso, and we are back with our panel discussion about pandemic PTSD, and it features our panel experts. Musa Kanyile is here, Lucia Ramat, and Sli Mbata. And earlier we explored some of the devastating effects that the pandemic has had on our mental health, and now we'll also be exploring the ways in which people have dealt with it. Now, we encourage you at home to join in on this conversation and share your thoughts and experiences. You can call us on 021 110 552.
Please, and it goes both ways. We want your advice, your insights as well, because we've all gone through this as a shared experience. And in fact, let's set the tone right now and hear from another one of our viewers who was brave enough to send us a voice note about how the pandemic has affected them. Take a listen.
Good morning, Expresso. Firstly, just wanted to say thank you so much for having this conversation. What I wanted to share from my end is the fact that I am a very social person. So when the lockdown happened, for me it was really a struggle not being able to be out there. Obviously, you were so used to being out there, being with people, and now suddenly you're isolated. So that was really something that I needed to adjust to.
I think a lot of people can relate to the isolation, and I think we've got a caller on the line who's joined us right now. I think it's Kim joining us on the line, and I'm sure has had their own particular experience through this, but something that I'm sure will hit on a few notes that we can all relate to. Kim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you? Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you so much for dialing in this morning. We'd love to hear your comment, your insights, or your question. We've got our panel sitting here ready to listen. What have you got to say this morning?
You know, mine is a comment. It's not really a question, but the challenges that one went through, you know, especially on the pandemic. Because during tough times, one would depend on a church. A church is another home for a place of strength. So for the fact that those were closed as well, one started thinking whether the church works or not. You know, you were isolated, you couldn't get help anywhere, and you couldn't even go to church.
Thank you so much for hitting the nail on the head, really. I think when it comes to our personal journey, I've certainly considered to myself what faith actually means. Where do you draw the line between kind of positive energy and thought and spirituality? When do you need to hand over that sense of control to a bigger power? How important is having your church, your community, your tribe, your people around you now? And why were we fighting so hard to have our churches be able to kind of do their thing? Why was it such a pressure point, do you think, through this journey?
Yeah, well, I think that church plays such an important role in society as far as, you know, supporting us as human beings, not only churches specifically, but having some sort of spiritual discipline, because we know that we're not only, you know, physical beings, and it's so important to take care of ourselves physically, but we're also emotional beings, we're also spiritual beings. So there's parts of ourselves that we need to take care of, and church generally plays, for a lot of people, that very important role of taking care of them spiritually, uplifting.
Gives you a structure.
Yes, it gives you a structure, and it gives you a sense of support and being able to actually cope in very difficult times. So I think that's why people were really fighting to still have that space, because it helped them probably before the pandemic, and it feels like such a crucial part of everyday life.
Definitely. I actually wanted to know if we had to flip it slightly, instead of focusing on, you know, the missing out on a lot of the connections we've had, has there been any good that came from actually, you know, staying home, being isolated from certain
I got 7 months with my daughter. I got 7 months with my daughter, uninterrupted. I'd pay you $1 million for that any year of my life.
That's probably it. I think that community is important. You know, community is vitally important, whether it's a running club or church group or whatever it is, community is vital. But if there was some benefit, I am also a believer in interventions and intervals. And this period of lockdown gave people this interval where they had to think again, they had to reprioritize. And those people pleasers had boundaries. They didn't set the boundaries, but the boundaries were there, so they couldn't do it. They couldn't say yes to everything. And they could actually think, what makes me happy? What do I want to do? So a lot of the people I work with say to me, Lucia, I want to change my career. You know, after these past 2 years, I don't want to work in corporate anymore.
I want to
don't
brew
want to
pineapple
do this
beer
anymore.
for the rest of my life.
Something like that. They want to change. And it's because they were able to gain some perspective during this lockdown period where they spent time with family and the priorities changed.
Musa, now that we know what's important to us, and I think everyone will start at the top of that list, family. Connections with the people we love, most important resource element of our lives, but we have to go back to work. We've got to try and recover. What is a normal time to recover from something like this? Is there a precedent for recovering from this? Because it's been such a personal journey. When do we need to start putting pressure on ourselves to say, okay, we should be bouncing back now? And when is it okay for us to say, it's all right, you're still in the fight here? Because it's only been a year post-lockdown. So it's not like we started this journey, yes, I know, 2 years ago, but most people have only just started recovering now. Talk me through the time frames here.
I don't think it would be fair on us to put any time frames because we've never experienced such a thing, such a tragic thing before. You know, if we think of our collective trauma as South Africans, we think of life as a Demeni, for example, where over 140 people were killed there. And we think of Marikana massacre, where just over 30 people were killed. With the pandemic, we are looking at over 100,000 people. You know, so this has shaken us in unimaginable ways, and so I don't think it would be fair to put a time frame to this because this is something we've never dealt with before. Our lives are gradually shifting. Just recently, we're able to walk around without masks for the first time in like over a year.
Yeah.
And I was just seeing on social media people graduating, and that has taken center stage recently. So there are so many joys that we've
got those positive milestones.
We've got those positive milestones back, and because of that gradual shift, I think we are also finding ways of really looking at our lives differently. What is this new normal?
Yeah.
And so I think I wouldn't say I would put a time frame to it, but it seems like things are gradually shifting.
Yeah, and I think now we can recognize those positive milestones, those new anchors we can set down to mark off where we are in our lives, because things have changed. Maybe it's only looking back that we realize how far we've come, but we are all in this together. We are talking about healing this morning. 021 110 552. If you want to have your say, ask any questions, give us a call.
And if you are feeling a little bit down today, then maybe this will lighten up your mood, because we're back in the studio with Luke and Joshua, a indie folk solo singer, songwriter, who's just released his debut single, which you can listen to on all major platforms right now. But in the meantime, here to perform a special song. It's called Poor Man's Destiny. And first up on our stage, Lucan, take it away.
Down the street on a hot summer day in the middle of the city scene. Just another day living out the ordinary life of a poor man's destiny. The only change going on is hidden deep within my pocket, and I'm sure you know what I mean. When the world turns blue, I'll be standing next to you, counting 1, 2, 3. Hey! morning tonight with the moon as my only friend. Talking all about the itsy-bitsy poisons of the world that'll bring us all to the end. He told me you don't have to stick around and listen to the sound of the bang-bang killing spree. So grab your coat, close your eyes, hold your breath and count to 3, and you can come and live with me. Well, there's nothing left for me to say. I wanna go far, far away to the place where the man from the Apollo got to jump around and play. And there's nothing left for me to do that'll keep me from standing next to you. Standing side by side, we could watch the world together go ba-boom, 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 yeah. For me to say, yeah, I wanna go far, far away, and there's nothing left for me to say, yeah, it's just another day living out the ordinary life of a poor man's destiny. Well, there's nothing left for me to say. I wanna go far, far away to the place where the man from the Apollo got to jump around and play. And there's nothing, yeah, there's nothing left for me to do. Standing side by side, we could watch the world together go ba-boom, ba-boom, boom, boom, yeah. Thank you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. We are back into our discussion about pandemic post-traumatic stress syndrome. So many of us have experienced it in some form or another, and we've got an amazing panel of experts, Musa Kanyele, Lucia Dramat, and Sliam Bata, all here, ready to answer yours and our questions this morning. And earlier we explored our reactions to pandemic PTSD, both positive and negative. Now it's time for our experts to share some helpful tips, some positive life hacks to get us through, even if it's just the next step. But before we do that, we encourage all of you guys, please, to join the conversation, share your thoughts, your insights, your experiences, and any questions. Give us a call, 021 110 552. We'd love to hear from you. But before we do that, let's hear from another one of our viewers who was brave enough to send us this voice note about how the pandemic has affected them.
Good morning, Expresso. Thank you for the question. I think there was a lot of adversity during these times, and I know something that happened in my family was my parents, because they were forced to be together and spend a lot of time during lockdown, it actually made them realize that they didn't have a healthy relationship, and they ended up getting divorced.
Wow.
But at the same time, me and my partner, we finally had time to spend time with each other because we were working such crazy lives, and it brought us closer together. So that was the kind of the positive that I took away. So it really opened people's minds to what was happening in their relationships.
Great comment, because, I mean, this is it. It's not extreme trauma for everyone, but everyone's been affected in different ways. It just makes for such an interesting dynamic moving forward. Why was this such like a get real period for all of us? Because it feels like now there's nowhere to hide. There's no more space for any superfluous nonsense in our lives. It's all got to matter.
Yeah. I think, I mean, for one, the fact that we're all facing a very, very serious issue altogether. But it's also, as I said, it was the drastic change in our everyday life. So now our working hours are different. The physical work situation, the workspace is different. A lot of overlap happened for some people between their work lives and their home lives. A lot of attention was being drawn to relationships, as the caller had just said. So there's a lot of things, I think, that really shed light on the nature and state of the relationships that we have. And I think for a lot of people, it made them really prioritize about what is important and really what doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, no, I got engaged, just before lockdown, and then the universe was like, let's see if you really want to get married. Let's give you a little global thing. You spend 9 months together and no one else, and have a newborn baby. Let's see if you really want to get married. But thankfully, I'm getting married in 10 days. So
He is getting married pretty soon. Well, as someone like myself that I check in with myself often, so I can pinpoint, okay, you're in an unhealthy space, it's time to make changes. Not everyone can do that. Musa, I'm going to ask you this question. Someone that's currently on that verge of that dark hole and they maybe not realizing they're in it, how can they get that wake up that they need and potentially seek professional help?
Yeah, good question.
It's a good question because unfortunately we live in a society where people do not access mental health services or use mental health services as much as they need to. And it's usually, for some people, unfortunately, when it's already too late, suicide we usually see devastating news about someone who's taken their lives. And I think it's, how do you know that you're not okay? And what we found, it's a very complex question. And most people who struggle with mental health difficulties actually get to know that they're not okay by noticing a shift in
consequences of their behavior,
in their physical well-being. So we know, for an example, that people who are diagnosed with depression, who get diagnosed with depression, come to seek help because they're struggling to sleep. They're struggling to sleep, they're fatigued. As a result, they can't concentrate. And those are physical symptoms, what we call somatic symptoms. And so mental health is so abstract that you actually need physical health to help you see that there is a mental health issue. You know, so there is
a system,
so there is that. So it's very difficult to know that you are not okay. But what the pandemic did was slow us down. And so the things that we use to distract ourselves from ourselves were no longer there. People go out clubbing, people do this and that, and none of that was...
Go to the gym for 3 hours.
Yeah. So now that all of that was no longer possible, you had to focus on yourself. And that's why some people ended up divorcing. You know, because you had to look into your immediate space, because you can't go out now. What is happening right here in front of you? And you look around and you're like,
real for everyone,
I don't like this. I don't like this life. I don't like this life that I'm living. And so I think we need to make a conscious effort to introspect our
well, I think Zoe hit the nail on the head, but you've got to be able to check in with yourself. Now, you guys have these psychological, intellectual, emotional tools that many of us don't, because you live in this space and you're helping others. Lucia, I'm going to put this to you. What do you say to yourself to pick yourself up in the morning? Because I would imagine you've been through the tough times as well. What is your mantra? How do you get your head into a positive space?
One of the tools that I use that's so powerful, and anybody can use it, you don't have to be qualified, is ask yourself questions, but positive questions. Questions that's going to give you beneficial answers. So sometimes we ask ourselves questions like, why is this always happening to me? You know, so we ask ourselves these questions and it gives us negative answers and it makes us feel worse. But if you start asking positive questions, what am I grateful for right now? What is something that I can do? I might not be able to do everything, but what is one step I can take right now? What is something I'm proud of? When you ask yourself those questions, immediately you start to feel a bit better and those juices start flowing. And when you're feeling a bit better, you can take that better action. But if you're asking yourself, why me? Why does this always happen to me? What's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? You go down this negative cycle. So forget those questions and start asking yourself questions that are actually empowering and beneficial to the way you think about yourself.
I love that. It is an opportunity to empower ourselves. We've learned so much about ourselves, about our social dynamic, about our work-life balance. All of this is, I have to believe it, an opportunity to lead ourselves into a better life. We just need our people around us, and we need that positive mindset. So we're going to continue, hopefully, building a little bit of positive energy in your headspace right now. We've got one more discussion with these amazing human beings. Don't stray too far.
Yes, it's all about positivity right now. And speaking of positivity, it's time to celebrate the incredible daughters in our lives and make one lucky Viewers Monday. Now, being able to share special stories about your daughter is a reflection of the great memories you have together. Now, Ghana God is giving you the chance to win 2,500 Rand every single day. And all you got to do is tell us about your amazing daughter on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter page competition post. So, today, it's a special day because we are so excited to announce our next lucky winner for this Monday. So, can I get a drum roll, please? Our winner is Zanele Poshenkosi! And let me read out this comment before we maybe get to chat to her. She had the following to say: I nominate my sister's daughter, Nomo Kugu. What a lovely angel. She is smart, beautiful, and she loves to sing. She loves church, and she's a happy soul. Hashtag Ghana God, hashtag Expresso Show, and hashtag Feminine Wellness. Zanele, are you there?
Hi, how are you?
No, how am I? I'm fine. How are you? You're a winner.
Yes, I am excited. Thank you so much.
How does it feel knowing that you're the first winner on our Monday of the 2,500 Rand?
Oh my God, I am so nervous. There's a lady who's been calling me just to prepare myself. I am so nervous.
Nah, you sound incredible. I wish we could have seen you as well, but it sounds like you're so happy, and that makes us happy. I want to ask you though, do you have any incredible memory or one of your best memories of your niece?
Oh, yes, I do. Especially at a very young age. She started calling me mommy instead of calling her mom. So that has been incredible, you know. And some of my neighbors, actually, they thought she was my daughter, so...
But I can see why. I'm looking at a picture of the two of you, and you both have the most incredibly beautiful smiles. I can surely see why everyone thinks you guys are related. What are you going to do with the prize money, though?
Okay, yesterday she gave me a shopping list, so yeah, to shop for her.
So she's putting you straight to work. Well, I can't thank you enough, Zanele. I hope you're having an incredible start to your Monday, yes?
Yes, I am, definitely. It's going to be a great week.
And have a beautiful one. Go celebrate and go share that love that you've received today with all those that are close to you, especially your niece as well. And thank you for entering the competition. You are our winner.
Thank you.
Sometimes I just absolutely love this job, being able to put smiles on so many people's faces, and all of our winners are so deserving of their prize. I mean, surely, don't you agree, Mzansi? And you can be a winner too, right? So all you got to do is enter the Gynagod Celebrating Daughters competition, and you can stand a chance to become our next winner. If you're wondering how, well, this is exactly how. Go check this out.
We are switching the celebrations from mothers to daughters for the rest of the month with Gynagod, as Gynagod launches their new teen range. Join Expresso weekdays to stand a chance of winning 2,500 Rand per day. Nominate a divine daughter by replying to the competition post on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter pages and tell us why they are a deserving daughter. Remember to tag the person you are nominating and use hashtag Feminine Wellness and hashtag Gynagod. Competition closes Tuesday, 24 May at 8 a.m. T's and C's on expressoshow.com.
I hope you'll always know how much I love you. I hope that you never stop learning and growing, that you'll be brave and joyful and kind, and that one day when you look at me and I look at you, we'll love the wonderful you that you've become. It all begins with purity.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for keeping it locked. We promised you an inspirational show this morning, so let's continue on that trend with one of the most inspirational individuals certainly this country has ever produced, and he's doing something pretty cool, or has at least just completed something awesome. The 18th edition of the Sani to Sea took place over the weekend with over 2,000 riders taking part in the event in KZN, which is fantastic. So the 3 days of mountain biking covers a distance of around 265 5Ks and takes riders from Underberg to Scotborough. Given the devastation in KZN recently as a result of the floods, it was no small task getting the route ready for another epic ride with over 100 people working to ensure that the route was better than ever. And boy, doesn't this area need that secondary spend apart from anything else. Now, someone who can attest to the quality of the route and the experience overall just happens to be our World Cup winning Springbok captain, John Smit, who took part in the race and now joins us via Zoom. You don't look tired at all, buddy. Are the legs at least a little bit lactic?
Yeah, it's an awesome event. So, yeah, I think we finished on Friday. So by Monday, you sort of feel a bit better. But, yeah, it was an incredible experience. So we're pretty fortunate. We go with a big group. The South Sea Legends are probably about 6 or 7 ex-players, and then we partner with DSV, and they bring a few of their clients, and it's like being back on a rugby tour, except instead of getting beaten up for 80 minutes, you get beaten up for between 5 and 7 hours, depending on how fast or slow you are.
Look, man, there's so much talk about this race. The brand is so strong, and obviously you've done a couple of the races yourselves. What is it? I mean, you've got the venue, you've got this world-class organization, but for you, what is it that makes this such a special race?
It's probably my favorite three-stage race in the country, and I do quite a few of these events. And for McGlenn and the community, I think where it started was just to try and raise some funds for a local school. And so what they've done within that Underberg area all the way through to the South Coast is just uplift wherever they can. You look at where it started, I mean, and I haven't done that many. I've probably been riding for the last sort of 6 or 7 years, but they've got these amazing race villages where you start in Glencoe and you go from Mackenzie to Jolivet to Scotborough, and you just stay in the most amazing places. The vibe around the riders and the race villages is really cool, and the trails are pretty intense. I mean, it's the admin of moving from one stage to another is worth the beauty of, I guess, the KwaZulu-Natal that we get to see. And you look at the damages. I mean, we saw a lot of damage along the way, and the way that they've been able to rebuild it and produce probably some of the finest single track. I mean, it's almost too smooth. I mean, sometimes I wonder if you actually even need a full suspension bike, because that second day you come down the Umkomaas drop, and it's the most magical view of this river, and it's incredible. So a massive privilege to be able to ride it. But the amount of influence that this race has had on the local community and the surrounding areas, and the work that was done this year to get it back to a condition that you can ride it in has just been phenomenal. So a privilege to be there for us as the South Sea Rugby Legends. And for us, we ride it just to raise awareness for our non-profit organisation that helps rugby development in the country, and we build our relationships with the corporates that partner with us to do that as well. So it's lucky to see the area is rebuilding. There's a lot to be done, though. It's quite devastating.
I was going to ask you about that, having seen firsthand, and to be a part of something so positive in that space, I know is fantastic, but you obviously got to see front row seat exactly what happened in the area. What do you think needs to be done? I know in your heart of hearts, you're always looking to provide solutions where you can. What do you think needs to happen in KZN? I'm sure the secondary spend from a massive event like this is great. What do you think needs to be done in the area, and how did you feel emotionally being in that space so soon after the devastation?
Look, I think there's quite a few things that are needed, but I think it's almost like an event like the Cap Sony to see is incredible, because we need events like this to bring people back to KwaZulu-Natal, to experience it from a tourism point of view. But you need things to work as well. So roads that are broken got to be fixed. So it's almost like there's got to be from a municipality/government point of view, there's got to be a lot of investment in focusing all their attention and their funds on getting the fundamentals right, which is, for me, transport, water, and you can see that that's already going. I mean, I remember coming in on the last day on Friday, and as you're coming in, you're getting closer and closer to the sea, and you can see the devastation that the floods have had on the roads and the surrounds. But there's trucks, there's cranes, there's that heavy beeping noise of big machinery going on coming to Scotborough. So there's definitely action happening, and there is a rebuilding of KwaZulu-Natal of where all the devastation happened. And then now I guess it's up to the rest of us to, continue going back to KwaZulu-Natal, doing races like the Caps on EDC, doing Ironman that's in 2 weeks' time, and showing the support from our side, because it's definitely being worked on from their side.
Yeah, look, I just want to say thank you, man. I mean, I'm looking at this event and the community involvement's insane. 23 schools benefiting from this, and the work you're doing just to raise exposure and awareness in the area. It's incredible, man. So I just want to say thank you. Literally, that's all I got to do.
And you're a big guy, man. Getting on a bike, going through those trails, man. We appreciate you. I'm sure what you lose on the uphill, you'll gain on the downhill. But thank you so much for being that voice, not just for the Cell C legends, but I think for the South African fraternity that is wanting to give back and do something. You're proving that you can do it in so many different ways. So, John, we love you, guy. Have an amazing day, and we look forward to catching up with you ahead of the next crazy race that you're going to do. But have an amazing day, my friend. Thanks so much for connecting.
Thank you, gents. Have a wonderful day.
You too. What a legend, man.
Absolute legend. So good to hear that the groundwork in KZN is being done, but he said it. You prove this. We've got to get down there. You've got to get into KZN. We've got to boost tourism. It's one of the most majestic places on the planet. Go and see for yourself.
Oh, well, speaking of majestic, the tropical island of treasure, it is back, and you know what that means. We are coming back with the best of the best in season 10 with an all-stars cast. Now, we're not just bringing you action-packed entertainment, we're also giving away massive prizes. Now, if you would like to win yourself one of these incredible prizes, all you have to do is buy the promotional Tropica bottle with the red cap and find your code underneath the cap. And then you stand a chance to win loads of instant prizes such as airtime, data, and even Uber vouchers. And if you find treasure under the red cap, you stand a chance to win one of 10 incredible prizes, such as Suzuki products worth up to 250,000 Rand. You could even choose between a car or a bike. That is how big you can win. But that's not all. You also stand a chance to win Uber vouchers worth 10,000 Rand, rest assured beds, a trip to the island of Seychelles, and so much more. So all you have to do is follow the simple instructions on your Tropica product to enter by dialing *120 *8767 You enter your unique code followed by # on your cell phone to complete your entry. So buy your Tropica today and you could win yourself your very own treasure. There are some T's and C's that apply, and all of that information can be found on tropica.co.za. Good luck.
We are back with the best of the best in the All-Star Season 10 of Tropica Island of Treasure. And we're going big!
Just tell us why you should be chosen to compete with one of these all-star celebs and stand a chance to win a smooth 1 million Rand. WhatsApp your audition video or upload it on our socials at MyTropica for your chance to get a spot on the island.
So buy a Tropica today, and this could be you. CPAC for details.
Tropica, nothing smoother.
your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and yes, it's Monday. We are switching things up and bringing a light to a very important issue, one we all came to deal with in one way or another, and that is pandemic post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, we're joined by our clinical psychologist and award-winning poet. This is Musa Kanyile, as well as motivational speaker and life coach Lucia Dramat, as well as our resident clinical psychologist Slindile Mbata. Now, we've encouraged you at home to pick up the phone and share your thoughts and, you know, even experiences. That number is 021 110 5552. And we actually have a caller on the line right now. This is Anonymous from Cape Town. Good morning.
Yes.
Hi,
Good
Anonymous.
morning. We can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, we've got two callers on the line.
We've got two for the price of one. Okay, let's see who we're going to start
hello.
with here. Good morning. This is
Good
Anonymous
morning.
on the line. Shane, what is your comment or your question this morning?
Yes, I've got a friend. She was a successful teacher, but the thing is, she was very paranoid when the pandemic hit. The thing is, what happened is she was so scared to go out, you know, and catching and obviously hearing of friends that lost family members to the pandemic, and also people that you know. So she is still in that rut. She doesn't want to go out, and she needs to get back into the workplace, but she is still not wanting to
She's still paranoid, yeah.
going to work or anything like that because of obviously suffers from depression and that now, and for financial reasons she needs to get back into the workplace. So how do you help someone like that?
Such a good question. There are so many people trapped. You talk about cycles, being trapped in that cycle. I don't know, Slee, maybe you want to. Thank you so much, Anonymous. Brilliant, brilliant question. We've spoken about how people have been affected in very different ways. So many of us, I was joking about being agoraphobic and being scared of outdoor places, but for some people, it is a massive thing that has kept them, again, locked in this space. How do they break that cycle?
Right, yeah, and this is really a question of how you adjust after there's been an appropriate kind of fear or anxiety response to, you know, what has been a very traumatic event for a lot of us. So I think the best thing that Anonymous's friend can do is to reach out, you know, for therapeutic support. Okay. This seems to me to be the sort of thing I think where a professional can definitely get involved, and then possibly just work through how to reintegrate. I think, you know, those gradual steps will have to be taken, but it might actually traumatize her more if she goes out too soon or feels overexposed.
Tries to force the issue.
Yes, or tries to force the issue. So definitely doing it with therapeutic support is, I think, is going to be the best idea for her.
Because there are practical first steps. Just do the first right thing, the next right thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to do 10 steps ahead, the big leap, just that first step. I love that.
We have another caller on the line. This is Mona from KZN. Good morning, Mona.
Good morning.
What is your comment or question for our panel today?
So I have a comment and a question to your panel. Thank you for having me. So what happened to me during the COVID-19 pandemic was that I was actually living abroad in Europe, and I actually lost my job while I was living abroad. And the trauma that I went through with regards to mourning that job loss, as well as having to travel back to South Africa during the height of a global pandemic with a serious lockdown, was very, very traumatic. And I suffered a large amount of depression, and I'm not a person that actually suffers from depression, but that whole experience of going through a job loss, going through leaving a country, coming back home, but thank goodness I had my family. But with regards to the question and to the panel, what I would like to ask is that after that kind of trauma and loss, how does one go about rebuilding their confidence? Because a job loss generally is a traumatic experience, but coupled with the pandemic and having to leave another country and come back home was really a shock to the system.
Completely. It's like you had already made all these big choices about where your life is going, and then it got completely redirected. And you are not alone. I lost 2 massive television contracts. I was like, why? Who do I blame? What do I do? But the bottom line is her life had to change on the most radical level and then change back again. How do you bounce back? Thank you so much, Mona. Brilliant, brilliant question. Maybe, Lucia, I'll put this to you. How does she bounce back? How do we all bounce back from this? And how do we manage our expectations through that process?
I think one of the things that sometimes we hold on to a dream that we had 10 years ago, or a dream that we had 5 years ago.
Even 3 years ago,
You've changed and you've evolved. And so you need to reevaluate, what do I actually want for the next chapter? What does the next 5 years look like for me? You're allowed to start from scratch and have a different dream and have a new dream. And then remind yourself what you've done. Sometimes you have to look at the past for credibility, just to remind yourself, I've done this,
I'm a fighter, yo.
I've done this,
Yeah, I'm a survivor,
And then you look at the future with your new dream and your new plan, and you take the steps that you can take right now. You obviously can't change everything, but you can take the next few steps. And if you at least do that, you feel like you're moving, you've learned from what you've been through, but you're aiming to the future.
Okay, I love that. And sorry, I'm going to ask Musa here, in terms of a confidence, like rebuilding her self-esteem to be able to enter that job market again, have you got any tips on just really focusing on her self-esteem to believe that she can do that?
I think the first thing to do is to not internalize the job loss to mean that there's something wrong about her.
It was a failure.
That there's, it's not her fault, and this was completely beyond her control. And so that's the first step, because what that does is it reassures you that you still have the same skills and qualities that secured you that job that you've lost, and because of that you can still secure another employment. And so I think that would be the first place to start, to not internalize the problem. This is not your fault. This happened because of the pandemic, and then you build up from there.
Slee, do you want to leave us with any advice for the person who is at that juncture, maybe ready to hear the words right now? Because I think for a lot of us, we've been so trapped in our little bubbles that maybe we haven't been open or receptive. People are listening right now. What do you want to say to that person that needs that kick in the butt to get their life back in order?
Yeah, it's been really, really tough. But one thing I've learned is that as human beings, our capacity to bounce back is so immense. So just remembering that you are resilient, and I think, like Lucia was saying, to kind of take stock of the things that you have been through already, because I think sometimes you can be so focused on the fear and the anxiety and what could possibly go wrong that we actually forget we have a track record of having survived a lot of things already.
Yeah.
So do take that into consideration. Remember that you have survived a lot up until now, and we can still keep doing that. It's just one more day. All you have to do is just do it for just one more day.
Yeah, man, no, I'm going to steal the words from Frozen 2, just do the next right thing. And don't look too far ahead. It might feel like you're more isolated now than ever before, but I have a feeling that we are probably more connected now than we ever have been before. As South Africans, as a global fraternity, we know where we are coming from. We know what we've all been through because we've all experienced it together. So share some of that love and support with the people around you, and don't be afraid to ask for help, please. And don't forget, we love you. Guys, thank you so much. It's been amazing this morning.
Yeah, we definitely love you, and we're definitely going to keep the positivity going on. And that's why we chatted to you this morning and asked you if you have any positive message to send a family member or a loved one, then come through and we can share it with the world right now. And of course, you did exactly that, Mzansi. We got so many comments coming through, which we absolutely love to see. And we're going to start off with Julisa Ntenteni. And she has the following to say: I want to send a message of encouragement to my family member called Pumalele. He is so trying to keep up with life, but I wish God could help him more to keep on living a safe life. Pumalela. Do it, my man. Use all that magic that you have inside of you. You're blessed with life, and I wish you nothing but the opportunity to express yourself. We've got Jocelyn Holland also coming through saying, good morning, my Expresso family. I want to encourage everyone that's unemployed and struggling to make ends meet. Remember, this too shall pass. Be strong and of good courage. Blessed day, y'all. Thanks, my Expresso family. You're simply the best, and it's a privilege to see one another. I love that, Jocelyn. A great message to everybody out there. Hang in there, people. Keep pushing. It will come through. Puleng Lehata says, a message to my big sister. Hi, Ozi Matuto. Lehata, I know you are working for us as your family. I want you to know we appreciate you so much. And we pray that God kept giving you strength. As the week starts, let it start on a high note. I love you. Beautiful message, Puleng. And there's so many more messages coming through. Alvira Boyson also has the following to say. She's using the hashtag Expresso Show, and she says, I'd like to say to my husband and sons, they should have an awesome day. Big ups to the family over there, and Mzansi, big ups to all these incredible messages that you've been sending through. We're starting this week off on a positive note. You've heard the discussions that we are having, and we are sending it into another level. And thank you for all these messages of encouragement. I think we all are so lucky to have each other, and we're going to share the love right now and share all the positivity with each other, and it's not going to stop for the entire week. Yes.
We are business owners working with business owners. Cashflow Capital, business funding that works for you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and this is a Motivational Monday. We are back with our pandemic PTSD discussion, and we'll be focusing on how we can use the adversities that we faced during the pandemic to help us build closer relationships with the people we love and the people around us. Now, let's embrace the positivity that came out of the suffering and the loss of a loved one, and we'll be continuing the pandemic PTSD discussion with international speaker and mind power expert Robin Banks, who joins us in studio. Now, we encourage you at home to also join in on this discussion and share your thoughts and experiences. Our telephone lines are open. That number is 021 110 552.
So let's set the tone right now, and thank you so much to all of the viewers who have sent in voice notes and messages this morning. Right now we're going to chat to Jasmine, and this is her talking about her experience during the pandemic and how she took her days step by step. Take a listen to this.
Hi Expresso, thank you for letting me share my story. COVID has been tough on me and my family. I lost my father to COVID pneumonia. We went to the hospital and they ill-treated us due to medical aid, which we did not understand why. I noticed some sudden change in family members ever since my dad passed, and I noticed that I was always for him than my mother. I always depended on him even for little things in life. I grew a very well relationship with my mother for this almost a year now, and even with my sisters. Like the way I started moving forward, I just told myself, take your day step by step. You can do it. Everything goes on. Life goes on. Always keep my father in the heart.
Oh, Jasmine, we are so sorry for your loss. It gets so real when I hear stories like this. Despite what many of us have lost materially, people have lost those closest to them during this pandemic. And I think this has torn families apart, as we've heard from you. So how can we use the loss to draw us closer together with the other people that we still have with us? Robin, I know it's quite a coup having you here this morning, so thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Despite this being a very negative premise, we are seeing some positives around this space. But for someone like Jasmine, you could hear in her voice what she was saying was more for herself as an affirmation, more to herself to say, you can do this, just take it step by step. Where are we right now? What conversation needs to be happening in our heads? What's going on in your mind? You've got to motivate other people. How do you stay motivated?
Well, first of all, I just want to say to Jasmine that my heart is feeling so... I feel her emotion. I feel for the loss, and for many people who've had that experience, including my brother who lost his wife. So many of us have lost loved ones. And I'm reminded of Eckhart Tolle. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
What an amazing author. And I'd really recommend people out there who are going through pain. He's got a number of books. One of his books is called The Power of Now, and the other one's called The New Earth. But in The Power of Now, he says something which I think is so poignant to what Jasmine was just saying. That the best way out of pain is through pain. And so often what happens for us, especially in my world, where, you know, like, come on, be positive, you can do it.
Yeah. Yes,
That's
man.
not the spirit. That's not what motivation is. Motivation and inspiration, in fact, I prefer the word inspiration because it's in spirit. It's coming from a deeper place than motivation. And by the way, motivation is great. But in this situation, I think what we're looking for is inspiration. Go within. And so when we think about the best way out of pain is through pain, is that if you are feeling the pain, don't deny it and say, I shouldn't be feeling this way. You're feeling the pain. Feel the grief. Feel the sorrow. Now, there's a big difference between feeling a feeling and becoming a feeling. And what often happens for people is when they're feeling anger, remorse, sorrow, regret, they think it's going to be this way forever. Jasmine, I promise you, this too shall pass. And any of us who are experiencing pain. Now, how long, I cannot say. And so when you're in a dip, allow yourself to feel, oh, I'm feeling so much grief, I'm feeling so much sadness, I really miss this person. If there are tears, let the tears cleanse you. And then you'll find that there's a time when you actually find things start shifting again, and then you'll find there's emotion again. So what I'm going to say is ride the wave, don't resist the wave.
The grief is part of the healing process.
The grief is part of the healing process.
Definitely. Well, Robin, we actually have a caller on the line right now. Colleen from KZN, good morning.
Good morning to you.
What is your comment or question for Robin Banks?
I just wanted to mention 5 days before the lockdown, the initial lockdown, I lost my husband to cancer. He died in the bed next to me, and I went straight into the lockdown. I managed to get him cremated. I'm all on my own, and spent 3 months without having a funeral or seeing the family or anything like that. But I'm a very strong person. I first of all didn't want to go back to work, but of course put my big girl panties on and went back to work. And yes, it has helped. It gives me a bit of a drive. And yeah, I have good days, bad days, and really, really bad days. But I'm hanging in there and I'm doing what I can.
Oh, we are so sorry for your loss and what must have been absolute torment after that, being caught in that cycle. So we certainly can relate to you on that matter, but I can scarcely imagine what you must have been through. Robin, what do you have to say to Colleen?
So what I'm going to say to you, Colleen, similar to what I was just saying to Jasmine, allow yourself to feel the grief when you feel the grief. But another message that I think you might find useful is that the mind loves analogies. And so I'd like to give you an analogy that the mind is like a TV with no off switch. You can't switch it off. But here's the most important thing. You can choose the channel you want to watch. Now, often what happens is So when I said earlier, feel the feeling, don't become the feeling. So on one aspect, Colleen, when you're feeling the grief, feel the feeling. But there's a very big difference between allowing yourself to feel, and my sensing just from listening to Colleen is I think she's managing it extremely well.
She's doing it, yeah.
I think you are doing very, very well, and I think the fact that you went back to work, that you took those steps, and kudos to you. But what I am going to encourage you to do is be very conscious of what you are feeding your mind. The other analogy I want to give people is I'd like to say, think of your mind as a garden of rich, fertile soil. Any seed that you sow
it's going to grow.
It cannot be any other way. If you put tomato seeds, you get tomatoes. You put carrot seeds, you get carrot seeds. You put weeds, you get weeds. So the thing is, it's not about the situation, it's how we think about it. Good and bad things happen to all of us. It's never about what happens. It's the story we make up which either empowers us or disempowers us. So for me, Colleen, what I'd focus on, and consciously focus on, is the gratitude of what her relationship with her husband gave her. Really be thankful of that. You can even journal it. In fact, make a list of what were the things you loved about him and appreciated about him, and celebrate his life. Celebrate what you enjoyed. And then, now start focusing, okay, so what's my new life going to look like? Without feeling guilt and how can I move on, because actually you do need to at some point. And by the way, it's been 2 years, so it's a short period.
It's fresh still.
It's fresh. It is fresh. But again, what do you want to focus your energies and attention on? So what books do you want to read? What shows, like for me, I love this show. This is such a great show because it's giving people hope and giving people inspiration. And so really, I hope that she finds that useful. It is very good that you are able to move on. And again, as I said to the previous caller, feel the feeling, don't become the feeling. And the best way out of pain is through pain.
You've got to push through it. And Colleen, I'll just add to it, from a partner's perspective, by virtue of the fact that you are fighting as hard as you are every day right now and doing what you're doing, I can guarantee you that your husband would be so proud of how strong you're being right now. But you can't be strong all the time, so it's okay to ask for help from the people around you. Robin, we're gonna bring you back, my friend. I think probably for another week, and of course we've got to broach a whole new round of COVID discussion. We're going to bring the medical experts in tomorrow to talk about the possibility of a new wave and where our headspace should be, what we need to be doing to protect ourselves. To all of the experts who have come in today, thank you so much. And hopefully you at home have garnered something out of today's discussion, but keep those words of motivation coming for each other on our social media platforms. We'd love to share as many of them as possible. Thank you. Robin, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you. What an incredible conversation. We're talking about feelings and emotions, and hopefully we can take some of those feelings and emotions and turn them into something positive right now, because we've got a talent standing by for you in the studio this morning. I'm talking about indie folk solo singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, DJ, and music producer. It's Luke and Joshua, and this time he's about to deliver an exclusive. This song hasn't been released yet. It's only coming out in like 2 months, I think, so you guys are getting spoiled right now. Luke and Joshua is here. He's about to perform something special. It's called Superhuman. Enjoy, Mzansi.
Just like all the other kids do. Nobody likes an upstreamer. They all grow up to be sinners, in detention more than anyone else. Why can't you be more like them? Nobody likes a little cheater. They all grow up to be stealers. proverb, Kurt Cobain on your t-shirt. Nobody likes a punk rocker. They all grow up to be killers. And in the nights you're sitting and wondering, why doesn't anyone get me? But this should make it all the sweeter. You're better, 'cause I'm a dreamer. The superhuman children of the night. Believe us when we say that we will never stop for anyone or anything, yeah. We are the superhuman children of the night. Dum dum da dum da da dum dum. 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 Hey 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 yeah yeah yeah. Dum dum da dum da dum dum. We are the superhuman children of the night. Believe us when we say that we will never stop for anyone or anything. Yeah, we are the superhuman children of the night. Dum da da dum dum. Dum dum da dum da da dum dum. Dum dum da dum da da dum dum. Dum dum da dum da da dum dum.
Thank you. Yes, Mzansi, there you have it, an exclusive from Luke himself. Man, that was special. That was awesome. I absolutely loved it. Thank you for sharing it with us first ever in the world. Yes, we got it, and we got one more performance coming from the man in just a bit. Mzansi, don't go anywhere. We got you. Yes, Mzansi, welcome back. Your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And we're out in the kitchen right now giving you some more inspiration like we have throughout this morning. And thank you for joining us. Now, if you're not sure what to whip up for your family dinner tonight, well, don't worry, we got you covered. And we are doing it with Woolies and their ready-made eat-in cook family meals, which are so, so exceptional. I'm falling in love with them, and we're going to give you a reason to do the exact same. They're quick, they're easy, and they're convenient, and it's making dinner meals such an easy solution. And here to take us through it all, Chef Clem in the building. Come on, man.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I got to ask you though, sorry, I know this is your space in the kitchen and I don't want it to interfere too much, but seeing that we're just sharing love today and positivity, encouragement, is there anyone out there you maybe have a message for? I know you have such a golden heart, Clem, and I know you have such good words. Any family members or people you have a message of encouragement maybe to share with the people?
I think more than just an individual, family or friend, I think it's to everyone.
Yeah.
I think that we kind of see people every day, and the funny thing is we go through so much, we don't understand that the person next to us is possibly going through a challenge of their own. To be empathetic and to kind of just understand one another helps make life and every day so much easier. Be the reason someone actually smiles for the day, yeah? Instead of being the reason that someone had to, like, it just became a little harder. So just living outside of our minds and thinking about the other person and making something blessed for them or making their moment blessed, there's a return factor for that. It actually makes you feel good.
100%.
So I think today is a good opportunity to, whatever we're going through, to take a second to step out of that, which is maybe good for us as well, and just empathize, sympathize with someone else, and kind of feel that love shared between the two of you. I think that's kind of healing as well.
I love that. And one thing that stood out for me and what you just said now is be the reason for someone's smile today. So maybe we can do that right now in the kitchen, cook up some hearty meals, of course, and put some smiles on the bellies and the faces of whoever's watching right now.
So here's the plan. We're going to make this amazing meal, get the family around the table tonight, and just share with each other. That's what we're going to do. So all the Expresso crew, team, behind the scenes, we're all coming back here tonight at 7 o'clock. Is that okay? Okay? All right, let's do this. So it's the eat-in meal, and this promotion's running until the 22nd of May.
Oh, nice.
You shop some time. It's such a good time, and it's especially with potential of load shedding. You don't want to be running around still cooking and sorting things out. Woolies have done everything for you. Nice. Pick a side, pick a main, pick a dessert, okay? Shop the whole deal. You can save up to 55 Rand, which is amazing. Don't forget your rewards card, guys. To get it. Okay.
Hey, you just mentioned a 3-course meal, by the way. Am I correct?
3-course meal.
Oh, snap. Okay. All right.
I also believe, like, Mondays, start your week off strong.
Yes.
Obviously, we're all together on the weekend, but Monday, have like another sit-down family meal just to get through Monday. Then it kind of almost becomes a 4-day week.
100%.
Because you get to see your people. Okay, Raul, I'm going to put you on veggies.
Okay.
So, like I said, pick a starter, pick a side, pick a main, pick a dessert. For the main, I've gone with the beef lasagna. For the side, I've gone with the roasting veggies. Nice. Super simple. Roasting veggies, if you can just give that a little...
Pop in the bowl?
What I would do is a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
Imagine there's olive oil on the veggies now. I see some in the corner of my eye going...
Okay, let's just pretend.
I can read the eye language. The person in the corner is about to leave is like, should I grab some olive oil? It's okay, you can leave it under the olive oil. So, olive oil goes on, salt and pepper. Here's the thing. Pop it in the oven if you want, but I also am super keen to use the air fryer for this. Okay. Because you can, in the oven, you're going to have your lasagna. So another option...
Or you can kind of make it at the same time. We talk about efficiency.
Absolutely, there we go.
That.
So your sides, you can either pick the roasting veggies like we did, the baby potatoes. You can go for the herb salad, which I think is really cool. So those are options for the side. Then for your mains, you got the burritos. You can choose the hake goujons. You can go for the beef lasagna. Hake goujons.
Even?
Right, yeah. It's like little crumb pieces of hake.
Oh,
also,
looks delicious.
Great in the oven, amazing in the air fryer.
In the air fryer as well, yeah.
So did I say mac and cheese, burritos, we got the lasagna, the goujons. You can kind of play around with it and make it your own.
Okay.
For the dessert, here's something that has changed and it's making my heart so happy. You can go for the Asia double cream yogurts, right? You can go for the fruit salad, the fruit maker salad. You can go for the eclairs, which we did today. But this is amazing. If you don't have an epic sweet tooth, but you like being a little fancy at the end of a dinner and having something still slightly savory, but a good way to round off your meal, Woolies now have the cheese selection. and
No
the
way.
dessert
Let me
option.
check this out.
So you could be so fancy. We're like, what do you want for dessert? I'd like your cheese selection, please.
Cheese board, please.
Cheese boards
I like
for
that.
dessert. That is
awesome.
Epic fun. You know what?
I was going to say to you, I don't care because I'm so caught up on the, what's the flavor of the one creamy? It was like lemon curd or something.
Oh, the lemon. We've got the lemon. We've got the lemon curd today.
I'm like obsessed with that flavor. But
it's like lemon meringue in a yogurt.
Literally, the fact that I'm just hearing all of this is making me actually want to change one of my favorites. And of course, Mzansi, you can get all of this at woolworths.co.za, woolworths.com, and you can get the recipe inspiration that we are doing right now, as well as all the options when it comes to preparing a fancy meal.
Fancy.
A three-course fancy meal. And especially on a Monday where we get to check in, calibrate, and just check in with our family.
Love it. Yeah. And this deal doesn't only apply to Monday. It expires on the 22nd.
So we can have it more than once.
You can mix and match your combinations throughout the week, which makes life so much easier. You've got more time to spend on yourself, on your family members.
I love that,
Inspire people. Invite that neighbor over for dinner tonight. Just do it. Make his or her day. Just invite them over for dinner.
And you have no problem because it's that easy. Of course, Mzansi, get over to the website right now and you can get this recipe inspiration. It's easy, it's simple, it's quick, and it's yummy too.
You're the reason I smiled today.
Aw, thank you.
One in 2 healthy South African women suffer from iron deficiency. Speak to your healthcare professional about getting tested and treated for iron deficiency. Brought to you by FerryMed.
We are back with the best of the best in the All-Star Season 10 of Tropica Island of Treasure. And we're going big!
Buy a Tropica, find your code under the cap, and stand a chance to win loads of instant prizes. Plus, if you find the treasure under the cap, you will win one of 10 big prizes. See pack for details. Tropica, nothing smoother.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Yep, we need a little refreshment. The mouths have worked this morning.
It has.
But for all the right reasons, thank you so much for joining us through what has been quite an in-depth and emotional conversation. Thank you to everyone who's been brave enough to share their moments of grief. And it's just really hit me how hard everyone has been hit on that emotional level. So we thought it would be nice to sum things up with a few wise words from Peace Ambassador Prem Rawat. Of course, we got the pleasure of interviewing him last week, and he had a beautiful way of summing up possibly the right way to approach it for you. And this is what he had to say. He said, you want to be shown kindness, but let's actually hear from the man himself in his own words. Take a listen to this.
Begin with your
self. Begin with me. Anything you do, anything you want somebody else to do, begin with you. You want to be shown kindness? Begin with you. You want the world to be kind to you, but you don't want to be kind to yourself. You got a problem.
Oh.
Got a big problem.
That is
Just
beautiful.
be kind to yourself. That could possibly be the first step for you to start healing, to start feeling a bit more positive. And I love those words. I'm going to reiterate them. You want to be shown kindness? It begins with you. You want the world to be kind to you, but you don't want to be kind to yourself. So make today just about self-love. Give yourself some breathing room. Give yourself just a little bit of a break to just be okay.
Oh, and listen, we've had some powerful discussions today. Tomorrow, these discussions, they continue, and it will be all things COVID related. Of course, it is our Health Tuesdays. So we are going to talk about the case numbers rising again. The booster shots are that are advised, as well as we would love to hear from you. So our lines are open. Save this number for tomorrow. It's 021 110 5552. I'll give it to you again. 021 110 5552. Save it for your questions, and of course we will have another panel of experts tomorrow.
Yeah, look, I must just say the show today has been incredible. The conversations you had with the panel was phenomenal, so pertinent to what everybody's going through right now, and the fact that we're just lifting up moods. And one man that has done that today is Luke Joshua. He's standing by once again. He's in the studio for this 2-time indie performances, and we've got one more coming up. It's new music. It's right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and sending us home, sending us into another emotion, and getting us all the feels that we want is Luke and Joshua standing by with the next performance called What Makes Us Fly. Take it away, brother.
Together we sing louder. Fears, foes, strangers knocking up on all our doors. Those enemies stretching far as the eye can see. Oh, we've all left, we've all cried, we've all dropped the many tears for those who died, and it's what makes us fly. And together we sing the louder. And together we sing the louder. The louder. And together we sing the louder. The louder. And together we sing the louder. together we sing da-la-da. Da-la-da. And together we sing da-la-da.
Wow. The stars aligned to get Lucan in studio today. What a beautiful message to complement what we've been trying to get across this morning. I know we've dealt with some pretty heavy, deep, emotional topics. We have heard from some people who've experienced massive loss, but we've also started to see the positive light at the end of the tunnel, and Lucan's helped to help highlight that for us this morning. So thank you so much, my brother. Take a bow, you legend. Thank you so much for punctuating this amazing show. So we're going to get quite practical about COVID tomorrow. We've had the emotional conversation today. We get into medical matters tomorrow. We'll bring the experts back in. 021 110 552. If you have any questions on where we're at with COVID right now, please join us. But before you do that, make a list right now of the things you're grateful for and celebrate that today. And don't forget, we love you.
Bye.
Here's to the sweet taste of time off, celebrating the lust of summer, and to family memories made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.